Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to today's edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, and Dennis Dick will be with us in just a second. Got a lot to discuss today. Today might as well be a stock market holiday. And I don't mean that we should have the day off. I mean, like, it's a special day for traders. It is, of course, the Russell Rebalance. This day comes once a year. There will be fireworks at the close. We will talk about that. We will talk about the banks. No surprise. They all passed their stress tests. They're all going to raise their dividend and increase their buybacks. We knew that would happen. We got earnings, Nike, FedEx, BlackBerry, CarMax this morning. A lot to get to on today's show. Markus Heitkoetter will join the show at 8:35 or so to talk about what he did this past week. And a lot to get to. So there's Dennis. There he is. Let's bring Joel's charts on. Before we do that, though, real quick, everyone, hit the subscribe button. Give us a like and hit the subscribe button. And that'll be how we do live chat today. Go subscribe, and then you can comment in the chat. Joel, how are we doing this morning?
Good. The S&Ps are up 3.5 at 59.50. Crude's down 15 cents at 73.15. Gold is up $8.30 at 17.85. Silver's up 20 cents at 26.25. Bitcoin's down $1,680 at 33,285. Ethereum is down $171.75 at 1,655. And this is June 25th. So the show is not going to move on until we name the two very important days that we celebrate today.
Oh, I just said one of them, didn't I?
No.
We celebrate the Russell Rebalance today.
One's market related, one's non-market related.
What do you got? What's non-market
So
related?
you guys are not going to guess? You're going to give up right away?
No.
June 25th.
I want to guess. Don't.
I think we celebrate the Russell Rebalance. We celebrate the Montreal Canadiens getting into the Stanley Cup Finals with a 24-32 record, which has got to be the worst record in years to make the Stanley Cups because they had so many overtime losses, and then they just run through everyone. So unbelievable. They're in the finals last night. So that's my first guess.
No, one's market related.
That's not market related.
Okay.
I
and
did the
one is
market-related one was
non-market.
Russell Rebalance, and non-market-related guess is the Montreal Canadiens.
Okay, Spencer, what's your guesses?
It's someone's
One I mention all the. I mean, they're synonymous, and I mention it all the time on the show, or not all the time, but quite often.
It's somebody's birthday.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. And the non-market related.
Dennis, are you sitting on your chair? Okay.
I'm
Are
here.
you not going to fall off?
Yeah. What's up?
Dana is 29 today.
Wow. And I can remember at the Bright Trading office back in 1999, 22 years ago, her coming in just about the age of my little boy, 6, 7 years old. Dana, happy birthday.
She's sleeping. She's taking the day off. And
9. What happened, Joel? When did we get old?
I don't know. I mean,
How did we get so old?
I don't even look 29. I mean, I swam 2,000 meters this morning to celebrate. I mean, can you believe that? 29 and Emily's going to be 26?
Wow.
I'm an old dude, but no, she's
you are
sleeping.
an old dude.
She's sleeping. And the other one.
What's the market related one?
Futures related, Spencer.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be futures related.
He loves his futures.
So something came online today, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I know this one. We've talked about this many times. The S&P Globex.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it. All right.
Joel loves the Globex.
The same day that Dana was born.
Is that
I've
when
still
it
been
came
trying
out?
to figure them out
The
ever
Globex?
since. Yeah, the exact same day. The exact
24-hour markets.
24-hour market, baby. Started the same day as should I go upstairs and get the button? Because at the Merc, when they had a new contract, like I still have the broiler chicken pen. And I had that
broiler
pig
chicken pen. You never know.
Yeah, and I have hogs are trendier. Remember that one we had in the office, Spencer? Or was that before your time? It's a hog with Nike tennis shoes and a hat on, and it says hogs are trendier than you thought.
It's all about the trends. This market is all about the trends, and that's a good segue into these markets here because we are trending higher again here this morning. QQQs continue to make new all-time highs. That's, I think, 3 days in a row, new all-time highs for the Qs. Looking at the SPY, trying to break out. It's still just hanging out at all-time highs, but you know what? It's right there. But I tell you, pesky little highs there from June 14th, 15th, trying to get through there. We probably do today. It is Russell Rebalance Day. There will be some massive volatility on the close. You got all the ads going in. You got all the deletes coming out, pages and pages of them, so you can get them at the Russell. That is going to be the story of the day, and especially the story on the close.
And Dennis, I only have one recommendation for you. If you're
algorithmic trading?
You can run algorithmic trading, but once you take your initial positions, you don't minimize it.
Don't keep the program running.
Yes.
Yeah, don't let the program run in the background and saying, why did I just buy that stock? Oh my gosh, my Russell Rebalance program is running in the background. It's making trades it's not supposed to make. Yeah, algorithmic trading needs to, if you ever do algorithmic trading, you need to babysit. We don't suggest anybody do algorithmic trading, at least at the beginning here. So I do a little bit. I'll do a little bit on the close here, but not like I used to 10 years ago when I got run over on that special day.
Right. We won't repeat that story, but
no, we've told it before.
It's a good one, though. It is one of my
next
favorite.
Russell Rebalance. We do it every other Russell Rebalance. So you have to go back to the year ago show if you want to hear that story.
Probably.
All right. So how do we play the Russell? So obviously we can look and we can just cherry pick a few if you want. I got the 3,000 here in front of me. We're looking at the additions. What are the big ones that are going in? And, you're looking here and, it's a lot of smaller companies, obviously. Here I see DraftKings on the list, DKNG, going in as an addition to the 3,000. It's been up for a couple of days into this. Historically, it's actually in the last 3-4 years, it's mixed. Sometimes you actually see the additions go down. But just remember, DKNG is supposed to be going in on the close, so there could be that bias to push it upwards. It doesn't always work out that way. We got Playboy Group, PLBY, going in. So you got that one there. Bring that up for the last couple of days. Now, again, the market's been up the last couple of days, so I wouldn't necessarily say there's any alpha generated from that. The Blackstone Group, BX, is another one. I'm just grabbing them right off the list. You can go. Can Spencer maybe? Oh, you're showing the list over at Russell.
Already got it.
Yeah, we're doing. That's what I'm going through right now. It's the 3,000 editions. So UTZ UT Zebra, another one that's widely traded. The way I do it, and the way I play it safer now, as opposed to trying to get all along all the ads and short all the deletes and hopefully, hoping it goes this way. I don't like to hope anymore on this trade because I've been run over on the wrong side of it. Sometimes the ads go down, the deletes go up, and you're like, what the hell just happened? Crowded Trades 101 happened on you, and it went the other way. So the way I've always played it, safe for the last 5-6 years, is just to fade the close. What does that mean? Stocks gapping up, I'm shorting them. Stocks gapping down on the close, I'm buying them. So sometimes you'll literally see a stock, as like DraftKings, and not necessarily DraftKings. Sometimes it's in the smaller ones too. But you might see, just example, maybe DraftKings is 52 and it gaps up to 53 on the close because it's getting on. This is just hypothetical situations. I would be short DraftKings then. If DraftKings goes the other way and it's at 50 and for whatever reason they decide to gap it down to 49, I would probably be the long DraftKings on the closing print and then trying to work it out either after hours or the next Monday morning. I'm hoping that the spread comes back in. I hedge myself out using usually the IWM because they're smaller stocks. And so if I'm long, if I get long $1 million worth of stocks, I'm going to short $1 million worth of IWM and hedge myself out. And then you're hoping that relationship pulls in a little bit. So trying to take the market risk out of it. That's a little bit of how I approach it. There's different ways. There's a lot of traders that do different stuff on this. Like I said, there's some traders, hedge funds that put this portfolio on months ago, and they're unwinding it now. So they're looking, that there may have been a drift up in the ads over the last month, and there may have been a drift down in the deletes over the last month, and they're now maybe unwinding it. Maybe they started unwinding it yesterday. Lots to consider with Russell Rebalance Day.
Okay, could you give me the right now? Could you give me the 5 biggest ads and like the 5 biggest?
I don't have them ranked yet. I will be doing that. I'm late with my Russell research. I used to research this for weeks ahead.
But it could change during the day too, right?
Well, a little bit, but it's by market cap, right? So they're not going to change that much. Okay. I mean, if I'm looking at the deletes, I cherry pick just a few names off, because there's a lot of names you're not going to know. I mean,
you filter out. You filter out, right?
Well, yeah, you're looking at the ads. There's a ton of names you're not even going to ever have traded here before. They're small. Some of them are really small names. I mean, I got AEVA. I don't even know what that is. AEVA.
Is that going in or out?
That's an ad.
Can I just cherry pick a few active ones?
Yeah, go. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, liquid. So Mara is going in.
Yeah.
Wait, Marathon or Mara?
Are you talking Marathon Oil? MOR?
No, MARA, Marathon.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think Marathon Oil would be going in.
MARA. Okay.
Yeah, MARA. That's the Bitcoin play.
Wow, that's going in there, huh?
Yeah, it's going in.
You've got
Nikola's going in.
Palantir is going in.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
Palantir is a good one. I'm not saying it's necessarily good to buy, but that's going to be an active one.
But look what it's done, Dennis. Look what it's done.
Yeah, it's been working for that. But that's the growth trade. Is that the Russell? People say, "Oh yeah, look at the Russell trade." That's the growth trade. I mean, bring up space. That's the growth trade.
That's going in. Is that going in?
Just remember, space is $47 this morning. It's gone. But just remember, sometimes this trade actually reverses. Sometimes these stocks make their highs of the year on this day or make their lows of the year on this day. This is a big reversal day sometimes for a lot of these stocks too. So a stock that's been trending up like Palantir, now it's going in, maybe it gaps up, that could make a high. I mean, this was $17 a month ago. So I'd be so inclined to probably be booking profits if I was in Palantir here now, even though it's kind of, breaking out. I mean, space is just way overdone. It's not a Russell play, but holy mackerel, $14 a month and a half ago. Now it's 48. They're buying at 48. You're doing it backwards.
I don't know, Dennis. We probably said that at 28, at 38, at 39,
probably
at 40, at 41.
You're still doing it backwards. You just got lucky.
A couple other big names going in. Snowflake.
Oh yeah, Snowflake's a good
Riot Blockchain is going in.
Oh, geez.
And chat's also got a few in there as well. Somebody mentioned Jazz Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, is Fisker going in? I said Fisker.
Fisker, yeah, Fisker going in. We talked about Fubo already. Those are kind of the big one, the big names.
The names that are widely traded.
Right.
Widely followed.
Clove going in?
No. Yeah, they weren't on the first list, but they may have been on a subsequent list.
They may have made it back on the list.
Yeah. something.
And what about the deletes? We've been giving the ads all the love.
Yeah, just give some deletes.
The deletes are often stocks that are under $1 even sometimes because they've just fallen so far. So then it's like, okay, well, you can look like ALSK. It's been obviously probably going down here for a while. So that's maybe why it's not actually that getting taken over. That's getting taken over. So
I'm looking for like more liquid names. You got Express, like EXPR is going out. You've got remember CODX? We used to talk about code diagnostics all the time. I feel like
that's going out too.
That's going out.
I'm just cherry picking names here too. There's so many on this list that companies that are just not like you recognize the tickers, but they're just not widely followed for good reason. They probably went down. I mean, they rank it by market cap. So if your market cap's going up, you're getting in. Market cap's from coming down, you're going out. So it's basically the underperformers are kicking out, and the outperformers for the last year they're putting in. That's kind of how they do it. LCI, Lynette, that was one that was widely traded before. That's going out.
Go out.
Who
was super bullish that? We had that.
Somebody out on the show. It was like 16. Whoever that was, I guess we didn't have him back.
I want to say, I think, was that the Reverend? Or no?
No, I don't think it was Reverend.
It wasn't the Reverend.
No, it was an analyst or somebody.
It was some big trader that had a big following.
They were wrong.
And I think they were short Tesla too. I don't know.
Bad pair right there.
I don't know how much.
Lakeland, we know the virus stock. Obviously,
coming out.
Lake's going out. Lake's getting the boots. LAKE.
How's that doing? I bet you it's down, right? Hit.
Well, the deletes are usually trending down, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking pandemic stuff. People are not, worried about masks and buying masks as much anymore.
There's a few here. Nothing really crazy.
Look at that spike in March.
It's big lists. They're big lists. A lot of action.
Yeah. So, Dennis, do you ever have your... because you're playing both sides, you ever have to not hedge out with the Russell?
Sometimes like you just get long a lot of stocks and short a lot of stocks. Like it naturally worked out. Usually there's a little bit of hedging involved. You're usually never going to get it perfect, but yeah, sometimes I'm hedging out all the time. I mean, I trade. People don't understand. I trade market neutral, and what am I trying to do? What it really does is smooths my earnings curve. Because let's just say you like this stock, but the market rolls over. Okay, well, that stock might still outperform the market, but you're going to lose on an absolute basis because the market rolled over. So by hedging myself with SPY or Qs or IWM, or, if it's gold stocks, I might be using GDX. By doing that, what I'm trying to do is really smooth my earnings curve. So I like consistency. I do this for a living. I like to make money every day if I can. That's obviously doesn't always work out that way, but with the hedge strategies you do. So then you're really doing is you're trying to really extract the alpha from your strategies. So, but sometimes, I'm just long stocks, short stocks. I don't need to use the indexes as much. But for the most part, there's almost every single night I'm like long short SPY, long short Qs, long short IWM. Today, for example, my overnight portfolio, I'm short SPYs and Qs because I must have been long stocks.
Right.
So, and I might be long those stocks for a number of reasons. Maybe it's technical based. Maybe it's a headline. Maybe it's just something I was getting the beats and I didn't feel like deserved the beats. There's different reasons for that. But what I try to do is, hedge myself out by using the indexes. So.
We should probably move on because I think 99.99% of our chat can't trade like this because they're not at Bright Trading and they don't have the capability to do this.
Well, I disagree with that 100% because 100%? You can always hedge yourself. I hedge myself out in other
but interactive too. No. Interactive brokers.
Why not? You have two stocks and you don't want
with less than a $25,000 account.
Sure, you could have two. You could have $5,000 in this stock, $5,000 in this stock. Beta's one. I short $10,000 worth of SPY because I don't want the market risk. Obviously people say, why would you do that? Because I'm losing some of my profits in an uptrending market. But you know why you do that? When the market rolls over and you got these positions on, you don't get crushed. So I've been through a lot of different markets. I trade hedged. So it's a style. The hedge fund, really's name is hedge. So they're buying and selling different stocks short. I'm kind of running a little mini hedge fund, but I mean, you can operate however you want to operate. I don't suggest, if you're just a long buy, so you're a long-term investor, there's no need to be shorting stocks. My long-term account, it's always long. I never short stocks in my long-term account. It's just always long. Now we know when I got nervous, sometimes I'll go in my trading portfolio and hedge myself out. Well, or short Qs or short SPYs if I really am nervous. There's few times that happens, but it obviously happens.
2008, March of 2020.
Yeah, there was a few. If the
1987.
tea leaves are saying we're coming into rougher waters, you look at your weather report, and if you got some storm clouds overhead, maybe you want to hedge yourself out a little bit in the longer term portfolio. But for the most part, on my long term portfolio, it's just long. So when the market's going down, my long term stuff's getting killed just along with you guys. But that's my retirement stuff. Try not to look at that. Try not to day trade it. We had a question about Alibaba here, which we could go into. I have BABA in my long term account. It's been in there for years. I added BABA as a swing trade recently. That is not in my long-term account. So I'm long BABA basically twice. Long-term, not looking at it. Short-term, I put it in there. We know when we talked about it 3 days ago. So I've got a target on that one. So it's not designated long-term. So, it's all how you trade. Different styles of trading for everyone. But what the hedge trading does is really smooth your earnings curve. When you're up 90% of the days, like I feel like we've been in the last 2 years, people are saying, oh, why would I want to hedge? I'm going to get that extra market oomph, and the market seems to be up every day anyways. And sometimes, when the market's just trending up, sometimes I don't hedge myself perfectly. I might leave myself a little bit long just to get a little extra exposure. But overall, I trade hedged.
I've been, my best hedge was probably in 29. I caught that. I hedged perfectly.
In 1929?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, Joel. 90 years ago, Joel was solid. He called that one. Black Monday. Was it Black Monday? Was that one? Or that was Black one?
That was a crash.
Yeah, was that Black Friday or Black Monday? I always forget which was which.
That was Black Friday.
That was Black Friday.
Black Monday was 87.
87.
Yep.
Yeah, Joel was actually on the floor for Black Monday, so he's not going to forget that one.
Well, because I didn't have $250,000 in my account, they said you're not trading today. And then meanwhile, people flipped. Did I ever tell you that story about when these guys flipped like 150 lots, 200 lots in the SPOOs for massive handles? Did I ever tell that story?
No, I don't think so.
This
is Black Monday?
This is, or it might have been like the Tuesday after.
Okay.
Or, I think it might have been Henry Kaufman's order from Shearson Lehman. And the SPOOs closed at like 240 or 250. I don't know exactly what the number is. And this guy, Mike, I don't know. I can't remember his last name. And he got an order to sell 2,000 on the open. Right? Mm-hmm. And this is like the SPOOs are at 250.
Yeah.
And at like 9:29 or 8:29 Chicago time, he's like 1,000 at 240. Crickets. 1,000 at 230.
Wow.
Crickets. 1,000 at 220. I mean, he kept going down and down.
Because he's got a paper order. Customer wants to sell. He's got to sell, right?
Sell at the market. He had to get the opening print.
Holy.
Okay. And I don't know. I don't have exact numbers here. And if there's anyone from the SPOOs, I'm not naming any names.
Yeah, but he had to go way down to get her.
Yeah. So he got, and this is just a percent. I think he offered right before the bell, 2,000 at 170.
They had to take it down way down.
Way down. Okay. Meanwhile, it was 190 bid on the other side of the pit.
That's his 20 points of arbitrage right there.
So this guy...
Welcome to fragmented markets in 1987.
He just absolutely got swamped. I mean, people were jumping on him, and then they said, give me 20, give me 50, give me 100. And then they were like, with their other hand, as soon as they got it, they were like, sold. And then they just ran over and they grab the other broker. Did I get it? And he's like, yeah, 50. And then I don't even know how long these guys held it for. Instant
just scalped out of it right away.
Yeah.
Like me, I got this one. I flip it out right away. That Russell stock gaps down. I buy the close. I flip it out.
It was a
sometimes
flip.
you can flip it out.
But Charlie's board. Charlie Abel's board. He's going Z. So we don't.
That's okay. No,
Charlie,
we don't agree with Charlie. We love the pit stories. This is how you learn, though. I mean, this show, and again, we're designed on this show to teach. This show, we've always tried to teach just as much as we give an opinion on a stock. Everybody on Twitter has an opinion on a stock. If you're looking for an opinion on a stock, you can find 1 million opinions on Twitter. We give some opinions. It's fun to give opinions. It's fun to make calls. But it's also, I think, more relevant to teach. You don't learn. And everything that came from the floor is now in algorithmic trading and in the markets. 95% of what you're trading is every day in the markets is floor trading tactics. So as you can take those floor trading tactics, and that's extrapolated over in to understand the market mechanics and the market plumbing better. So I love the stories. All that is Joel is talking about, is arbitrage. They're on the one side of it, and then they're on the other side. They can get, and you have fragmented markets, and you do see that, on ARCA and SDQ. Sometimes it's in microseconds now, because high frequency traders have, basically, made that so efficient and monopolize those strategies. But boom, boom, they're just flipping instantaneously in milliseconds. You don't even see it. So, I mean, this was back in the day, though, when we had human beings. We didn't have algorithmic trading in 1987, at least not like we do now. So, the markets were a little bit more inefficient. So the markets are obviously a lot more efficient. So I love the story, Joel.
I just want to tell one more thing. Someone's like, how do they keep track of like the prints and everything? So what they used to do, and you probably will never see this again, but all around the floor, they had the big boards, right? You've seen that with the high and low and close and whatever, open interest. And normally you could see the last 8 prints, right? And but when it got like that, the guys in the tower would just go fast market. And so they would only show the last 2 prints.
Oh, really?
They wouldn't show the other 6 prints because they didn't know where the hell they were at. But there was a guy hanging in a tower.
They're trying to manually input this. They can't keep up.
Yeah, they're going to walkie-talkie. They're like quarter trade, half trade. And then, they're like, screw it, fast market. And then...
That's what you got to do. I can't call it... Play-by-play announcers, like, it's too fast for me. We'll just go screw it, fast market.
Can't type that fast.
That's what you say, fast market.
When you're at fast market, man, you knew that things are going on. But
I actually found some audio of Joel on Black Friday. He was running out of there. Running for his life. Anyway, let's move on.
Can we cover a stock?
Yeah.
I'm really getting impatient this chat.
All right. We'll do Nike here. Nike had earnings after the close yesterday. Earnings are pretty good. EPS 93 cents versus a 51 cent estimate. Sales of $12.3 billion versus an $11 billion estimate. So they blew those numbers away. They saw 141% year-over-year growth in North American sales. Just huge beats for Nike. Stock
Bring up that Nike shirt, Joel.
And it's bringing Foot Locker with it this morning.
Yeah, I tried, and I was trying to buy the Foot Locker for a while, and I finally gave up. I didn't want to pay up $1. Obviously, maybe I should have, because Foot Locker continues, and it's up $2.50 now. I could have bought it up $1, but I was trying to buy it in the 61 handle. Could not get done, so some people paid up a little bit. You could have got like 62s for a while after the report, but Nike just kept going up. Friend Peter reaching out to me on Twitter here. Was trying to play this last night. He's just got some questions about, how a stock can just go straight up like this on earnings. He was actually trying to play the short side on it, and he's like, there just wasn't even any pullback at all. The stock didn't want to pull back even $1. And I mean, look at that chart. It's true. Sometimes after hours, a lot of times you get some chop, and sometimes you get reversals. This was not that. This stock just kept going up after earnings, and they would not. If you look at all those, I guess they're blue candles here in the top left corner of this chart. I mean, it was straight up with really no pullback until you got to 150. Then we stalled out a little bit, and then we tried to go up a little bit now. And now it's been a consolidation station, for the majority of the pre-market session. But that after hours price discovery for the first hour and a half was just climb. And it kept, I have a filter running, and it's showing me all stocks in the S&P, or it's showing me all the stocks making new highs.
Nike.
Making new highs. It's just Nike. Nike keeps setting it. Nike making a new high. Every time it makes a new high, it pops into my filter. I was like, holy cow. Nike just continues to make new highs. So you could try, and we often talk about this, looking at the old high. Is it going to stall out there? It would have been a logical spot for it to stall out at the old high, which was around 147.95. It kind of went through there, though, so it didn't really stall out. A little bit above there, 150. So, so that would have been a logical spot to maybe try it. But as soon as it starts making a new all-time high, then I got to be out. I never short a stock making a new all-time high. So even if it's after hours, it's like, okay, well, if you tried at 147.5 off that old all-time high, so it's going 148.5, you got to go, not working out here, lose your point and get out. I mean, there's still enough liquidity in here. It wasn't like it's blowing through handles. It was climbing. So you probably can work out of it. You got to be disciplined. You got to cut the losers. And when you're trading these things after hours, it's high risk, though. And Nike is nice. There's enough liquidity in there. You get into these smaller stocks, and you're trying to trade them on earnings. they can be completely wild, like where there's no liquidity at all. And if it reverses on you, your best bid might be like $5 down, and you're like, okay, well, what do I do now? That's the trouble of trading the earnings stocks, and that's why I tend to lay off when there's earnings on the earnings plays, just for that reason. Although a stock like Nike is still liquid enough that you probably can get out within 30 cents, 40 cents if you're quick.
Dennis, was it just a relentless bid? I mean, back in the old days, used to be able
Pretty
to,
much.
just see the bid for $5, bid.
I didn't watch it close enough
Okay.
to say if that was the case. I just noticed it just kept going up. Once, I'm trading other things too. All I know is I was like, I'm trying to buy Foot Locker. Lululemon was trading higher on it. I'm trying to play the sympathy plays. Under Armour is another one. And it's up 4%. You got to know the relationships. Now, obviously, Nike up 13%. Lululemon's not going to go up 13%. But, 3-4 to 1, maybe you're going to get a 2-3% move off Lulu. Lulu's only up 1% here this morning. Under Armour is up more. So you think about those plays. Foot Locker is the first play. You see, the only time I ever, really got burned on Foot Locker was one time, I think, on the conference call. Nike had pretty good earnings, and then they started talking about going direct to consumer.
Ooh.
And that's never a good thing for Foot Locker if they're going to skip. So, I mean, I can remember there was one earnings report. Maybe you guys remember this, like maybe it was a year or two ago, where they were talking about expanding the direct to consumer. And all of a sudden, it's like Foot Locker, is now, whoa, Foot Locker just went red on a green Nike report. That's where you could get hit on that. Foot Locker obviously selling Nike shoes. If Nike decides to go direct consumer, skip Foot Locker, not good for Foot Locker. But so I've been a little bit spooked on Foot Locker since then. But overall, Foot Locker usually trends with the Nike earnings.
Okay. What about Crocs? If we're talking about shoes.
I didn't look at that.
It actually, Shoe Carnival, they're all, because Nike's up so much, you might get a little lift in all of those. But, this is like more of a Nike thing. I always think Nike, I think Skechers, Under Armour right away.
Well, Skechers, that's
Foot Locker, Under Armour, Skechers probably be trading higher.
Yeah. Shoe Carnival, and this trade kind of makes sense because people need new shoes, right? Like they're just wearing socks at home.
Look at that
and they're
Shoe Carnival chart last 5 days.
I know.
They were front running that Nike report. Just joking.
Let's see Skechers. I got a pair of Skechers.
That could break out through 50 today. Actually, it's going to gap up. Is the problem. It's going to gap up $1.50 on you. I've been roping up right at resistance.
What about Steve Madden? Is that still around?
Yeah. What's the
Shoe? SHOO, but they spell it wrong. I don't know why they didn't do SHOE. I guess they couldn't get it, but SHOO.
And
Steve Madden.
And then we did Skechers, and then there was a new IPO. Now, don't laugh at me, but I think Boot Barn.
Well, Boot Barn was.
Yeah. Oh, that's been around.
Came back. Yeah. So Boot's been moving for a while. So
okay, but wasn't there a new IPO?
I don't know what the other one is.
No. Okay.
Look at that Boot Barn shirt. Holy mackerel.
People need new shoes, man.
They go outside. They're doing outside things. COVID made them go outside for a whole year. And now now it's summertime. They're going back outside again. We got second virus kicking around a little bit. But no, it's overextended move for sure on a lot of these stocks. But Nike isn't really overextended. I mean, it is maybe in the short term because it's a big earnings move here. But really, Nike's been in consolidation station here for the better part of 7 months. Between 135 and 145.
Yeah. You know who's not buying new shoes?
Who?
Me.
Why? You got all the shoes you need?
No, well, I bought, this is like
because he only swims.
15 years ago, I bought a pair.
New shoes in the pool.
15 years ago, I bought a pair. Maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I bought a pair of leather sandals in Charleston, South Carolina. They were Cole Haans with Nike soles. Okay, I'm telling you. The most comfortable shoes ever, and I wear them down. And ever since then, I've been looking for them in stores, and they don't make them anymore. So I gave up, and I went to my shoe guy, Patrick. He's unbelievable. And I go, Patrick, you might think I'm crazy, but can you redo those?
Of course, Joel is.
And I spent $60. I spent $60 on a 15-year-old pair of sandals. I'll bring them down. They look great. They're Cole Haans with Nike soles. I mean, if you guys want to make a mint, you should bring those back. They're so comfortable. You can wear them in 100-degree weather. Unbelievable. And the Nike soles, I could probably beat you guys in one-on-one basketball wearing them.
I'm not very good at basketball.
Maybe. All right, let's bring it back here. It's 8:35, and let's bring on Markus Heitkoetter from Rockwell Trading. And Markus, how is your week going so far?
Oh, it's amazing. It's one of the best weeks ever because last week I got assigned in 6th position, so I could sell a bunch of calls, and selling calls is fun. So looks like if the markets are holding up that I'll have a $15,000 week. So
a nice week, Markus. Congrats.
At all.
What'd you do?
Okay, let me just share my screen here. Let's see. So what I did is I sold puts on AA, and then last week I got assigned. So as you can see here, it dipped below the strike price of 35, and I got assigned last Friday. I must say, since last Friday we were down here at 32, I just sold calls right at the assigned price. So I sold it right at 35. So therefore, this will be the worst trade this week. On this one here, I'll only make around $580.
That's good. When your worst trade, you make $580. That's always a good thing, Markus.
Then Camping World. Camping World was another good one.
Oh, yeah.
So I sold the 37.50, got assigned, as you can see, and it closed last Friday when I got assigned at around 36. Here, let me just double check really quick what I did there, because I sold, there it is. I sold the 39. Okay, that's fun. Okay, so I sold the 39 call. And this means that I'm making premium on this.
You got another $1.50 off.
I'm making money on the way up on the stock. So if we close above 39 today, these shares will get called away, and this will be worth, let me just quickly take a look at my calculator here. So for Camping World, the guaranteed premium on the calls, it's 2,160. If they close above 39 today, I'll make an additional $4,000 on the stock for a total of $6,210. So Camping World, trade. Yay, please stay above 39. That would be terrific.
Question for you, Markus. Do you ever, do you just leave it up to the trading gods, or do you ever cut it short? Okay, well, you're up in this trade, you can, cover in those calls that buy back those calls that you wrote and call it a trade there, or do you leave it up? If they're going to call me away, they're going to call me away.
You see, it's a great question, and here is the challenge. Usually, I'm just showing the account for CWH, or maybe let's go for AA. Usually, I'm down on the calls quite significantly. Look at this. So AA on the stock, I'm making $3,915, but on the calls, I'm down $3,487. So I need to let it expire. I cannot buy them back, right? So with Camping World here, it's a little bit closer. So I'm up $4,900 on the shares, and then I'm only down $324 on the calls. So here, Dennis, I could close this one and say, yeah, you know what? Let's not roll the dice. I'll give up $324 in profits. But this here it's all time premium, right? I mean, it's all time premium. And if you stay above 39, I'll pocket an additional $324. JWN, let's go to this one. JWN, I'm up $11,000 on the stock, but as you can see, I'm down $6,700 on the calls. Now, this is here at 33.50, so I will get called away, and there's still time premium in there. So it wouldn't really make sense to close this one. It's easier to let it expire, especially if you look at JWN. Let's just go back on the charts. So JWN, I mean, what are the chances that today we're falling below the strike price? What did I have on the strike price here? I should have written it down on the chart. JWN 33.50. Okay, so my call strike price is right here. So for Camping World, it would possibly make sense, but I'll probably just let it expire here. Because honestly, if I'm not getting called away, and if I keep the shares, I can sell again. So I can sell calls again. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. All of these stocks are stocks that I don't mind owning at all. I mean, I'm good with these stocks. I'm good with Camping World, Alcoa, Nordstrom. Penn is another one. So I got assigned last week in Penn. So here, this was down yesterday. I didn't watch the markets yesterday afternoon. So I got assigned at 75. And let me see, what strike price did I sell on Penn? Just move over here to my bookkeeping. There we go. Okay. So on Penn, I sold the 76. So if Penn stays above 76, I'm getting called away. And on the calls, I collected 1,430. If it closes above 76, I'm collecting an additional 3,250. If not, I'll just sell more calls. So that's the plan. And yeah, I mean, I was actually really, really happy last week because for me, it's always a little bit of a milestone where I'm cracking the 6 figures for the year. And so last week, when I collected all the premium, realized profits, I'm at 100,681. So this is where, for me, it's always fun. It's a little bit like, gotta celebrate a little bit. Anyhow.
It's nice when you hit your milestones, for sure.
Right.
So what's on your radar for coming into next week? I mean, we have a big Russell rebalance today. We got a lot of stocks going on. What are you eyeing up? What are you looking at writing this coming week?
I mean, Dennis, we talked about the Russell balancing, and you're not mentioning Ride. I mean, how can you? When you
is Ride going in?
Your favorite,
Stop.
5
is it going in? Did I miss
edition?
Ride? Let me look.
Wait a minute.
Was Ride going in?
Ride was it on the original list, or was it on this? Was it added? Hold on.
It might be.
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, it was on the original. Whoops.
We just went over it.
How could you?
It's so mean of us.
How could you forget about Ride?
How did we miss Ride? I'm just skipping through the list, and it's a stock we talk about with you so much. We knew you were coming on, and we failed to even mention Ride.
Spencer, can we just stop sharing the charts for just a minute?
Yes, we can.
Since we are talking about Ride, and we have been talking about Ride since February here. Okay, I have something special for you here. If you ask me about Ride, there we go. I thought if you want to ask me again about Ride today,
we've ever seen on this show.
There we go. A special shirt.
That's good, Marcus.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Ride is going into the Russell 3000 today. So, and Marcus is celebrating that apparently.
Dennis, if we would have thought of, I didn't know that was going in, because the only thing we've been saying all week is this thing has a relentless bid.
It's
the only thing we're like, bad news, go down. Look at support.
It doesn't go down.
I mean,
we
kept on saying that. It went up on bad news. I mean, how many times did we say that during this week? It's like, well, if it doesn't, who cares that they don't have any money, they don't have any cars, people are quitting, they don't have. It held 10. I mean, there's sometimes
we talk about a 10. It's holding 10.
Sometimes if you can just ignore the news, the constant news flow, which is sometimes slanted, and just well, if I buy it at 10 and it goes to 9, I lose $1. You know, it's just.
If you can bring the chart back, because I mean, Joel, you're a big artist.
I have trouble listening because I just keep looking at your.
No, I get Marcus.
That's so good. Okay. That's so good, Marcus.
Marcus, this is what you need. Okay. Well, did you get your average cost down to 1387.5 yet?
No, I just sold a few more calls. I should be to around, I'm probably around 13. I need to recalculate it today. Probably at around 1350.
1287, Marcus. I mean, I don't know what, I know you like to let it go up there and then come back down again. But if you see 12, that's another $1.87. I mean, if you get something wild like, 12. Do you trade after hours at all or not?
No. That's not for me. Anyhow, especially in a stock for Ride,
I would throw some stock out there at like 15.5 or 16, and if someone wants to get stupid on the imbalance, let them take you. But I know you like. I mean, you got yourself in, and you're going to get yourself out. So I was going to say 1287 would be my short-term target for today.
1287. Okay. Yeah, because I'm also looking at, it seems that at some point they're establishing a trend line here somehow magically. We will see. I mean, they might have found a bottom, but there's so much news. I mean,
that's crazy.
Start at this point, technical analysis on a stock like this, it's like doing technical analysis on GME or AMC. I mean, everything, fundamental technicals. I mean, it's pretty much out of the window here.
I'm still saying when we get that ride back up and you get out of that position with your money back, we're going to have a party here on the show one of these Fridays.
You're going to drive that sweet
and I'm
bus
ordering one
there.
of those shirts.
You're going to drive that bus
It's
up
custom made. It's custom made.
I thought you got that right off the store shelf at Walmart.
Probably there should be many of those.
There's a few people that probably have that same opinion of Ride out there. So that shirt.
Wait. No, in all seriousness, where did you get that shirt?
It got a custom made, Spencer.
No, this is where somebody got it for me.
Oh.
So.
That's great.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Markus Heitkoetter, guys, as whoever said in chat, is a treasure. To learn more, hear more, see more of Markus and his adventures, you can go to rockwelltrading.com/Benzinga. The link is up on the screen. He joins us every Friday. And that was a great treat, Markus.
That was. Everybody be talking about that all day, Markus.
Totally unexpected. Totally unexpected.
Oh yeah, the way he did it too. It's just like it was so smooth.
He's a smooth guy.
Yes.
Markus Heitkoetter, thank you so much. We will talk to you again next Friday.
Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Markus.
Right. God, what a treat that was.
That's funny.
There are a lot of people who share that same worldview, that same opinion.
Oh, I'm sure. You know,
yes.
The stock where was the stock originally? Like Markus average cost 13. A lot of people are in this thing at $20, $25, $30. It's like, oh. You know, and so it's tough to get your money back. But you know what? This market, we thought, space, going back to that one, I would have not thought that space, which was $50 back in February, went to 14. I would not have thought this could get back and be approaching $50 again a month and a half later. This market likes when it starts going and it starts trending in one direction. Those trends are pesky. And wow, man, space. I think today's the day you ring the register if you're long it, in my opinion. But wow, man, it's been a nice comeback for a lot of people in SPCE. Bag holders, no more in SPCE.
So this
I looked at this one for Bobby, and first things first. Note that pre-market high. That's always important to get file through. Like the guys that are like, if you're bidding this up, and I don't know how to put. I want to put this. I want to put this politically correct.
Yeah, please. It's a sensitive world right now.
Okay. If you want to sell, okay, but you're still bullish at these levels, it's easier to bid it up in the pre-market and then until the real liquidity comes in. So I would just say, did I do okay on that, Dennis?
Yeah.
Okay. Got to be compliant. And so you pre-market high to me is important, and since we talked about it, it's moved up from 48.90 to 49.40.
So you think there could be people like holding it up here, like there could be money bidding it up, holding it up, and then the real liquidity comes in and they hammer it. I mean, this
50-80. I'd keep.
This is manipulative activity, but we're not. We don't know.
We don't know that.
We don't know what other hedge funds are doing. I mean, AMC. Obviously, we've got the apes accusing the markets of a lot of manipulative activity. I'm not going to say there's no manipulative activity going on in these markets. There is manipulative activity everywhere. We've even said on earnings reports. I mean, there's hedge funds. Imagine you're long. You have a wishy-washy hedge fund, and imagine you're long stock XYZ, a couple 100,000 shares. It's got no bids. Well, you throw out a few bids, and that gets more bids going. It's like all of a sudden you've got a rally going. That stuff does happen out there. Don't kid yourself. So Joel's just saying, maybe this is getting pushed by algos. Maybe it's getting pushed for a number of reasons. But this feels like a little bit of FOMO here now, though, to me in space. Could it go to 50? Could it go to 55? It could do anything. What's the headline here again? They got some.
Yeah. Talk about headlines that you wouldn't have assumed were necessary, because I would have assumed if Virgin Galactic is doing a commercial space launch, I would have assumed that they already have a full license to do so from the FAA, but they didn't until this morning when they got approval from the FAA for a full commercial launch license following the success of their May test flight. So, okay.
Well, I better get my deposit in now.
Yes.
What's it, 350, or they bring it down to 300? 350K?
I don't know. Sorry.
This feels like upside capitulation this morning for me. Like when you have stock trending down, 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 and then people are like, I can't take it anymore, sell it all. And then you have the capitulation. We call it the opposite way when it's boom, boom, boom. They've been watching. I got to get in this. If FOMO's in here, I got to get in this. If there's a short, in there, they're like, I got to get covered. This feels like upside capitulation where you ring the register if you're long. That's my opinion. Could it go to 50, 55? I mean, it just ran up $9. Could do anything. It's way overdone here now, way overbought. If you're buying it up here, I still believe you're doing it backwards. I would be a seller today if I owned space.
And another thing, too, and the other thing, like I could give you the pre-market high, I could give you the level, but the best way, really the only way to catch a good average cost is if you want to sell today is by peeling out, sell, some at 49.10 and then put an offer out at 49.20, but bigger quantity. And then you go up to 49.40. You put a bigger quantity, 49.50. If you got a
huge position,
bigger, that's what they do. I mean, they don't say, unless you're an institution, then you let it get like 49.40 bid, and you say, sell me $1 million down to 49. And then that's the way they do it. But you're better off in this algorithm world is, just throw it. They'll lift the smaller offers.
When it's this liquid, you get your orders out there, you get done. I always am, a fan, and we haven't talked about this stuff though, but most of our listeners are probably small enough. I'm small enough where, I'm just going to get in and out, and I take liquidity for the most part. I want to get out of this thing. I don't like throwing out a 10,000 share order and then spooking the market away from you.
Don't do it.
Because you throw out your order there and you throw, I'm going to throw 10,000 and sell 49 right now. Well, the algos see that, and then they take it down. They're like, okay, well, I missed. And then you go 48.5. And then it's like, it moves down to you again. And then finally you get a 48, and the thing comes right back. So if you're 10,000 shares, you're sifting out 500, 500,000, just working it out. If you're 300, 400, 500 shares of this thing, you just hit the bid. You want out, you just hit the bid. You go, boom, 49, I'm out. Don't try to play, the spread. The spread, if you want to talk about, and talk about the markets and where they're rigged, it's totally rigged in the spread. I mean, why do you think we have payment for order flow? Why do you think off-exchange market makers buy those orders? Gives them the best chance to capture the spread. So, if there's a marketable buy coming in, they're selling on the offer, marketable sell coming in, they're buying on the bid, and they don't even have to put any orders out there. They're just taking the opposite side of all those market orders. That's where the big money is at. So, I mean, you as an individual trader, in this designed market, you're almost forced to pay the spread. And that's where, it wasn't like that 15 years ago, 20 years ago as much, because there wasn't so much off exchange, there wasn't so many orders going off exchange where you could put your order out there and get done. But now, in the market, it's, obviously you're going to get done. It gets, it's 10-cent spread right now. And you throw out your order, you're probably going to get down to a couple hundred shares. But it's still not as easy to get done. A lot of times you'll see you throw it out there and then it moves down on you. Throw it out there and it moves down on you. So in this market, it's called taking liquidity. If you're small enough, I just take liquidity, I get out.
All right, we do have Jason Raznick here lurking in the background, and I did want to cover FedEx at some point. Jason, good morning. It's been a long time.
You can do FedEx in a second. I'm on for 6 minutes, or maybe shorter. We'll see.
Oh, okay, go.
9. But
go.
Real quick, I wanted to jump on Joel. I apologize about the shirt the guy was wearing. I
Joel don't like the cussing.
I froze. I was like, Joel's gonna log. I thought Joel was gonna log off, but he did not. He stayed. So
because he put the little asterisks in there. Was okay.
I was just gonna say it, Dennis. He had the asterisk.
It was okay.
Yes, that's what I figured. And by the way, Dennis,
Raz doesn't apologize much, folks. So you better take.
You got to take that apology.
Yeah, you got to take note on that.
Dennis,
put that in pro.
I saw Joel's doppelganger at a deli 2 days ago. Literally, I thought it was Joel, and the only difference was he didn't respond to me when I said Joel, and it wasn't Joel. I mean, he's a doppelganger. It was unbelievable.
What deli?
Are talking.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, what was that?
No, that was me. That was me in the background. Sorry.
What deli?
Stage Deli is your twin.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
so you have a twin that's local, even.
Yes,
usually it's like when you go across the other side of the world on a vacation, you're like, oh, but my twin is on the other side of the world.
And the guy was like nice. It was beautiful. Okay, quick question. Tesla, guys. Tesla, what do you think?
I think it topped out yesterday. Short term, it's overbought. We were saying on the show, I actually said on the show, if I was long it, I wouldn't hold out for 700. I'd be selling in the 690s. Money Mitch listens to the show, sold his, I think, at 692. I think you got that little pesky little high there, 697. and is it in an uptrend? Is it coming back? Yeah, it looks better than it did, but it's overbought in the short term. If I was going to get in this thing, I'd wait for a pullback now. I think it's overbought short term.
Yeah. It was a surprising run, but I have to say Luke was all over it at 600 saying, let's buy this thing. You guys know I've been trimming, ever so slightly. I just don't know if it's going to go to a 730. I don't see what I'm very long Tesla, guys, so I'm biased, but I don't see the immediate catalyst. I'm actually a little bit frustrated with Tesla with the car lineup right now, that they're not making any model adjustments to the Model S's, the Plaid, which, people think would sell like crazy, but but there's no difference to it on the outside except for a little logo, a little corner. There needs to be some updates. I know why they're not doing it. The cost, it's so much cheaper for them not to update the molds and everything. I get it. I don't know if it's enough I don't know. I mean, whenever I started to doubt Tesla and get nervous about it, I usually been wrong, but I just feel like there needs to be more in that pipeline, Dennis, right now. I mean, they have a great pipeline with the semi and then the one that everyone wants, the Cybertruck. But with the S's and the Y's and the X's, I just feel like there needs to be a little bit more to drive the stock because there is some good stuff coming out. Now, it doesn't mean that those other car companies are the buys because their whole model does not work for electric vehicles. Their whole models is based on service. So electric vehicles is going to hurt Ford, GM, and Chrysler. Yeah. So, but I'm just with Tesla. My Tesla lease is up, and I keep extending it because I'm not sure what to do.
Wait a minute, you lease?
I felt that way. Yes, I lease.
I didn't know that.
This whole time. Yeah. Well, I never got the car, Spencer. That was a gift at first. The first 6 months I paid was a gift, and then I lease, and I extended it. I wasn't to get the Model Y, but then I'm like, maybe they're gonna have something newer, better, whatever. Why would I lease? Because you lease every few years, you get a car without anyone else's problems. You don't have to get all the service. And I used to buy and keep them for like 150,000 miles. I always had so many problems, transmissions, all that stuff. And so lease just makes the life easier, I guess.
To each their own.
And Starlink, by the way, people talk about Starlink and the internet thing, and that's going to help Tesla. Starlink can be its own business, not part of Tesla. It's just not clear on that. So that's another thing. Spencer, did you lose weight?
He does look lighter right now.
His face looks a lot skinnier. Wow.
Right. I don't know.
It's just me. Yeah, it's just me and you, Raz, that don't lose weight. I guess apparently here. Joel swims a million, and I'm at all-time highs. So
yeah, Dennis, I'm literally 211 every freaking day. I wake up at 2 a.m. and I go down and eat half a Twix bar.
Wait, last thing on the Tesla. What about Panasonic selling their entire stake? You saw that?
Yeah. Yes.
Aren't they a key supplier?
Yep. Remember, I went to Tesla's battery plant in Lake Tahoe. I got a tour. They gave me a half day there, and then six is doing great. Someone said 6 up there. 6 is doing great. I'm like, it's taken off. My 6 and 60. It's not 60 yet, but it's doing great lately. But it's like at 44, I think. So the Panasonic one definitely shocked me, man, because Panasonic is so integrated, Spencer, in their office, like so integrated in their building. So that shocked me, but I feel like
the market didn't care.
Yeah, I feel like because they're starting their own electric thing and building it into the truck. I mean, you guys should listen to the Sandy Monroe interview. He knows this game. He says Tesla's 6 to 8 years ahead of everyone. He knows this game. So I would say to you, Tesla has room to run. So I'd say. And Joel, my guy, not Joel Elconin, but the guy that gave me the Tesla pick a long time ago, he thinks Tesla is going to be one of the biggest insurance companies in the world because they can monitor, they own their fleet, they don't need to use Geico, all this stuff. He thinks there's a lot more upside to Tesla. That's what Joel thinks. And then I guess, and now these are 2 smaller ones. There's 2 stocks I've been owning for a while, but I guess I shouldn't say because they're smaller ones. And I've talked about them. The float's not as big as I would like to talk about it now. There's 20 people. But the last one is that six, the whatever.
Six Flags? That's
Six Flags. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name.
Noel and I were talking about that the other day. They all look pretty good.
Classic reopening trade.
Yeah, Dennis, I've owned Six Flags for a while, and I kept saying 6 and 60, and I'm now even with how much I was down because I kept buying. But I still think I say 6 and 60. I may be giving up the 60 and now say 6 and 50. Six Flags will be at 50 before the end of the summer is my
the question is, and this is what we've seen happen here in the last week. We've all flocked back into tech, and the money's been flowing back into tech in the last month. And they've forgotten and hating on the reopening trades now. We're not reopening anymore. American Airlines has been sitting here and basically doing nothing here around 22. My Las Vegas Sands, which I'm long, got hit hard yesterday. Disney, which I want to own, is trying to claw its way back. Six is grouped right into all that. I think the market's forgetting about the reopening, but I think the market will remember quickly too. So I actually like some of these reopening plays because we now have a dip. We've now pulled back. People are not talking about the reopening trade, in the media, and it seems like this market just likes to cycle. We're talking growth, tech, Cathie's back, everything. So that's why I'm actually lightening up those stocks, and I'm actually interested in adding some reopening plays. Six Flags would be a classic reopening play.
Yeah, and Dennis, my kids went to it, and it was packed, and
I'm sure
it was one of these things that I think you have to own it. Oh, lastly, golf. Guys, if you're not in golf, I don't think it's too late. Dennis did a remark about 6 months ago that spring trade is buy golf, buy Eli.
Yeah.
And I agree with him on it. But what I would say is I think that Callaway, I don't own it right now, guys, is at 33, 34, could easily see 40. I have called like 10 dealers of clubs. Callaway was the only one to buy shafts, grips, and everything a year in advance. So they have most of the supply, and they're selling the stuff. It's not all sold out. So that's it. It's 9-1. So Dennis, I'm not in Callaway, but I keep looking at it, and maybe I'm too obsessed with golf right now. But I don't know.
I heard something interesting on TV, and they were talking how they jammed all the majors in early this year, and the reason that they're doing it is, get it early, get it in June and July, get people excited right in the height of golf season. And then boom, look what that guy was using. I'm going to go buy that club. And you still have, July, August, September, and maybe into October. But I'll let you guys take it from here. Spencer, I'll see you at 3:30.
Joel, that's amazing.
Doing well.
That's a good look.
Somebody is cutting to her audio on her show.
That was Jason. That was Jason doing some weird things. All right, Jason's
still here. You cut him off.
No, he's gone. No, Jason left.
You cut him off again.
I think he had a meeting. He was joining the meeting while he was in with us, and we heard that. So anyway, we didn't talk about FedEx here. Dennis, do you have thoughts on FDX because earnings seemed okay? Guidance seemed in line. The stock is down. Let me bring it up in pro.
The valuation is still attractive. I sold my FedEx a while ago, and I wish I wouldn't have. I think I sold around 260 or 270. I just thought it got overdone. I bought it at $100, and I felt like it was actually in my. I say I don't put stocks in my long term in my RRSP account, which is like your Roth in Canada, but I had that one in there. And so I didn't have to pay the tax on it. I'll have to pay the tax at the end of it when you take the money out when I'm 70 years old. But I don't have to immediately pay the tax on it. So I was a little bit, if this would have been in my regular account, I probably wouldn't have sold it. 292. I don't know. It's a pullback. It's a great company. The valuation's reasonable. I think it's trading 13, 14 times. You can make an argument. This has been an environment where it's probably near as good as it gets for FedEx UPS. Yeah. I've always been concerned that Amazon, and you are seeing Amazon deliver a lot more of their own packages now. I mean, think about at your doorstep. There's a lot of times delivering your Amazon packages, not FedEx and UPS. It's just random. They've got random delivery. Everybody's moving into this. You're going to get a drone delivery. I tend to think that it might be kind of the environment where it was as good as it gets for FedEx, but it's still reasonable priced.
Yeah.
So I think if you got a significant pullback, I'd be into it. Am I buying it when it pulled back $8 today? No, I don't think so. If it got down to 250, I'd probably be interested.
Speaking of retirement accounts, you saw what Peter Thiel did, right? You heard about that?
No. What? Peter did?
ProPublica reported on this. Peter Thiel back in 1999 or whatever. I didn't know you were allowed to do this. He bought shares of PayPal and put them in his Roth IRA when they were priced at like a penny.
Really?
And so then his Roth IRA, the value of his account went from like $6,000 to like millions of dollars in 1 year because she had shares of PayPal in there.
Time that right.
Any way you could do that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know because again, I'm not allowed a Roth. I'm
Right.
not American here, so it's a different story. Well, I guess
I'm sorry. Yeah. Wait, was it a penny or were they less than a penny? I'm sorry, they were less than a penny. They're under a penny. Thank you.
Well, PayPal. I don't know because he got a spinoff from eBay, right? So like I got PayPal shares for nothing as well because I had eBay long, and then they gave me PayPal. So, right. I mean, I guess it depends on how your cost basis works with that. You know, I always say, like, my brokerage usually shows up. My cost basis is where the opening day where, you know, the stock came public, which obviously wasn't a penny. If we go back to this, you know, it would have been, I don't know, $32 or something.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Jay Rubin is telling me that you have to be an accredited investor to pull a move like that and put something like that in.
I think so too. I don't think we're going to be doing that.
Right. Bummer. All right, Dennis. Have a good day. Go to
Russell Rebalance. It's going to be fireworks on the close. I'd use this opportunity if you're in something and it's gapping up into the close and you've been wanting to get out. You might get some really good prices, you know, on some stocks today. Space, like I said, it just kissed up to the 50. I'd be a seller of space here today. Again, it's just my opinion. The thing can go anywhere, but holy mackerel, there's a lot of good news priced in this thing now. Just as much as it was oversold a month and a half ago at 14, it is completely overbought here now at 48. So I think it's due for a pullback eventually here.
All right, we'll be on at the close, Joel and I, and Dennis will be buried under a mountain of trades. So
yes, I will.
Good luck today, Dennis.
Always a little nervous on this day.
Always nervous. Dennis, you get nervous?
I never get much nervous, but actually I get the butterflies going around 3:30, and you know I'm starting and doing my homework and getting everything ready. And it's probably just because I've been through, you know, both ways with this. Russell's been awesome for me, and it's been terrible for me. I've seen it both ways. Now I play conservatively, like I said, ever since that day that I had algos go wild on me. It was a little bit nerve-wracking. So it's an interesting day, we'll say that.
Wow, I didn't know you get nervous for all these.
Not very often with trading do I get nervous, but I do on Russell Rebalance day.
But it's more excitement. Your nerves of excitement.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
you know, it's like your birthday. It's something's going on. You know, you're excited. You're anticipating. You know, you get the butterflies going, and you do what you have to do. I'm very systematic. You know, I take the systematic approach to it. I don't try to put opinion in there on this day. It's simply playing the systems, what has worked from a probability perspective.
That's it. All right, Dennis, we'll talk to you.
Have a good weekend. Good luck, everyone.
I'll tweet at you later.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll tweet out and let you know how the Russell went. So follow me, Trader. You can see it on the screen at Triple D Trader. I will tweet out probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock when I start getting unburied from stocks how it went.
All righty. Thanks a lot, man. Okay, it's 9 o'clock or 9:07 now. Time flies. Let's bring on Ryan Faloona and Jonathan Mallard, who are going to live trade into the open using Benzinga Pro. And let's bring them on here in a second, guys. I don't know if you watched, if you saw about a half hour ago, our interview with Markus Heitkoetter and his F ride shirt. I don't know if you guys caught that. Ryan, I think you did. All right, Ryan, you're on mute, man. Ryan, you're on mute. Come on, bro.
Can you hear me? Yep. Sorry about that. You mute me all the time, so that's your fault, actually, not mine. But anyway, I did see that you guys were doing that. I didn't actually see the spot because I was walking back and forth preparing for this segment.
Yeah.
However, I did catch right at the end there. Dennis said he was nervous. Sensei is nervous. No way. I could. You're breaking news, Spencer. You're breaking news out here.
Mr. Miyagi doesn't get nervous, I thought, but
and you know he was trying to. You guys were trying to explain if it was excitement or anxiety. You know what that reminded me? That reminded me of the Seinfeld episode where George is going to try to put the marble rye back, and he's in there and he's like, "I just get a little nervous on the weekends." That's what Dennis reminded me of right there. That was absolutely perfect. I'm over here dying. Oh, that's so good. Good morning, everybody. Richard, hi. How's it going? Lele, are you back to kill it again? Because you destroyed the trades last week. Welcome back.
Lele is our Friday morning sniper. That's like my mental picture. She's just like waiting
for the profits.
All right, Ryan, what are we looking at today?
All right, so I have 6 stocks that I've narrowed down for the open here today. You can see them right here in the watch list. I got these top 3 from movers. I'll show you how I got them in a sec. I got these last 3 from a relative volume scan performed after hours last night. So I suspect that ACBA, Cody, and Prague might be in play today, but might not be in play right off of the open. Prague, just for full disclosure here, I'm looking for Prague to test this 374 spot on volume sometime after the open. Probably will happen about a half an hour to an hour after the open. Looking for a volume expansion snap here, hoping to get about 10 cents off that day trade. The other three here, Space, Piers, and Torchlight. I just heard Dennis say he was a seller of Space. I will take the opposite side of that trade. I am actually hoping to day trade this. There's going to be so many eyeballs and so much interest on this stock today. I think that this could absolutely make for some decent trades, both to the short and the long side. So real quickly, just to show you how I got those three from movers, let me make this a little bit bigger, probably difficult for you guys to see out there in viewer land. What I have here on the left is just the movers tool, and I wanted to search for pre-market gainers. You've probably seen this a million times. Then I basically went through this list and picked out the ones that were the juiciest, that also had the highest volume here. So you can see right away, I skipped over Nokia. This not my thing. I'll let the Wall Street Bets and the Reddit crowd take care of that. Torchlight here. I think that this has been in the news flow for quite a while recently. I think that you might get some trades on both sides of this today. And then Space. Obviously, this is probably going to be the big one today. Last one here was Piers. Notable shout out to TNXP. I've actually day traded this in the past. I think I'm going to skip it today and go for some of these other ones here, though. So I'm basically looking to just catch a real quick scalp off a support region and then sell on a resistance area. Real simple plan going in the open. We'll see if it materializes.
Did you look at OSMT? I forget what was on your watch list.
OSMT. Let's take a look at it right now. Oops, I guess.
Osmotica Pharmaceuticals. It looks like it surpassed the previous high. It's got some heavy volume here. Volume's tapering off a little bit, but I mean, it could crash and burn, or it could take off. Either way, I think.
Yeah, you know what, Jonathan? Great spot here. Let's go ahead and add this to the watch list, just so we can keep track of this. This is a real good spot. I don't have this here. Actually, I'm not sure why this didn't appear in movers. Interesting. I'll take a look at that. But yeah, no, this is a real good one. What have we traded on the day here today so far? 3 million shares, way over the average. Great spot here, Jonathan. Let's definitely take a look at this one right off the open. What I'm going to do now is do exactly what I just did on those other stocks. I'm basically going to use the horizontal line tool and mark off price levels that I think are going to be important. These are going to be sentiment shifts where the price just started to reverse. And basically, I'm just going to mark these off and then wait for them to actually hit once the market opens. So here we go. This is kind of where we're at. Let me take a look to the left here and see if I'm missing any obvious points. Looks like this is going to encompass most of them. Maybe we'll add another one right down here. All right. Looking good. Looking good. Maybe one more to the upside just in case things get a little nuts today. Okay, so we're ready for this as well. Let me go back to the chart tool here. Here we go. So now we've got all those stocks that we're watching right here, and we'll be able to keep track of this as soon as the market opens. Should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a bunch of tickers to go through here in the chat. Laylee's looking to short FFHL at the open. Looks like they had positive earnings yesterday, so maybe she thinks that's short-lived.
Well, I can tell you, I've actually seen this trade a number of times over the course of the year, and I think, Lele, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to put words in your mouth here, but I think what you're looking for is a repeat of what we've seen in the past. Every time this stock spikes up, it comes right back in. I mean, without exception. We're back in 2019 right now. I have not seen an exception to this rule yet. Shout it out if you see it, Jonathan. Every time this stock spikes, it comes right back in. I think Lele is right on with her plan.
All right. Yeah, that's what we love to trade there. Repeat setups.
You know, for me, here's the thing. For me, when it comes to shorting, I've just never been good at it. Obviously, the whole thing about exposing yourself to unlimited risk, that's one aspect of it. But I've never really been able to make it work. So when I look at something like this, I think, yeah, this is almost certainly going to come back in today. The question is when, right? Do you short it right at the open? Do you wait for 10, 30, 11 o'clock? I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure she's working on figuring that out. So it's got some serious resistance above it. For me, shorting is just not my thing, man. I've never been able to be profitable. It toys with my emotions different than going long. It takes me out of my comfort zone, and it forces unforced errors, to borrow a tennis term. And so I just kind of eliminate it. I eliminate it from what I'm trying to do, and I stick to what's successful. So I'm not going to short this. However, taking a look at this chart and knowing the history of this particular stock, I think that's a solid plan. I think she's gonna crush that.
Cool. It looks like we broke a story this morning on AMPE, Ampio Pharmaceuticals. It looks like we had an exclusive on. Let's see here. It's a COVID-19. It's a phase 2 study of an inhaled formula for COVID-19 distress. So obviously, it's still got that magic COVID-19 hot phrase there, and it's up 6% this morning. So we'll see what happens after the open.
Yeah, and these COVID headlines, Jonathan, to your point, I think these COVID headlines are going to be around for a little bit. By the way, so looking at this on the daily chart here, we are definitely running up into some near-term resistance here at 2. So I know we're up already 15 cents, up 8.5% here. Looks like we're running into a resistance level pretty soon. We can take a look at this. I'm actually going to pass on this. I don't think I'm going to trade this one around the open, but this could definitely provide a trade later on in the day. Always look to the left, folks. Always look to the left. Now, if we snap this, I think we could probably start going after some of these highs. Maybe not today. We'll see. Looks like that trend has been broken already. Yeah, we're kind of already trading sideways out of that trend. So we'll see if there's any, like exclusive information that's actually broken here. Could be one to watch. By the way, nice little shout out again to we have a workspace that I made a instructional video for on how you can capture all of this. So whether or not this works out today, we are going to be doing more exclusive interviews in the past, and we've had a lot of interviews that have really caused the stocks to move. So if you want to be able to capture that, be sure to set up a workspace designed to do so.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you look, this is a great example because we had the exclusive 15 minutes before the press release came out. So pretty much all of that move was from the exclusive.
Okay. Awesome.
So, just it's a simple reminder, right? Just set those alerts for those exclusives from Benzinga. It's one of the main value adds you get from our service. So you should just follow it. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. I love how you're borrowing the Nike slogan there, but I think that you're spot on, Jonathan. By the way, so a match group. This was a Mitch pick from last Friday. I see Mitch in the chat now doing his victory lap. I gotta say, Mitch, this is a great call. Right, this is a great call. We are up 15 points since you actually called this last Friday. 15 points in a week. I mean, that's some nice performance, my man. Great call on this. You still long? What did you do with this? Let's go. Mitch is always on top of it. Yeah, he is. Mitch knows it. Money Mitch, man. He knows what he's doing. Mitch has got by the way, Mitch really knows baseball too. So you're a baseball fan. Hit Mitch up. He knows his stuff. He's real good fantasy player too, by the way. Call it for our Money Mitch team. You got it, my man. You got it.
See someone's looking at Roblox.
RBLX. All right. So I also heard on the pre-market prep, Dennis was talking about, recently people have been coming back into tech. We talked about that quite a bit on the happy hour. I see risk on for tech for the rest of the second half of the year here. I think that pretty much goes without saying. Roblox, I don't actually play any game from Roblox, but from what I understand, this is a monster. A lot of the younger folks actually like this microtransactions in some of these games. So I definitely see this as kind of like a nice play here. Now, as far as it's doing today, it looks like we're really kind of butting up against yesterday's high. It looks like it really wants to take that out today. It'll be interesting to see what happens if we actually do take that out today. Looking to the left here, we look like we're at a former support and resistance line. And I bet if we take that out, 90, 91, definitely possible today on Roblox. Let's see. Was there any news or anything on that today? Anything fresh today? No, just kind of a rebound after earnings. Got it.
Yeah. And then people talking about Tesla. What else was in here? And Nike after their earnings.
Yeah. Okay. So with as far as Nike goes, I hate to even, I hate to even say this. Who buys Nike anymore?
I mean, I haven't, but
yeah, me either. Me either. Now the market obviously really, really likes this. Is a huge beat. You said this was from earnings. Thank you, Share Chain. Have to come reported better than expected Q4 EPS and sales results. Top and bottom line beat. Company also reported it saw 141% growth in North American sales. Someone's buying them. It's not you and I, Jonathan, but someone's buying them, and that kind of growth is unbelievable. Holy smoke. So this is a nice play. I'm actually not going to play. I'm not going to chase this candle right after earnings. However, looking at the chart, we have a nice floating island formation setting up here. If you followed any type of technical formation like this in the past, you know that these, for the most part, resolve to the upside. So Nike now, this might be a trade next week as we kind of put in a high and then trade back in to hold that island. I think then in the next move up would be the one to take advantage of. You could actually do that really well with options as well in this name. So I don't buy the shoes anymore. I do love Jordans. I don't buy the shoes anymore, but I would be interested in the stock if we do actually complete this floating island formation here over the next couple of days.
Brock says 3 stripes for life. We have an Adidas fan, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I think, with 10 minutes left here, I think maybe could we go back over your watch list and then just walk through step by step in a little more detail what exactly we're looking for if it breaks through these resistance levels, and then where you would expect to exit or have a stop?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start first with the 3 names that we got from the overnight scan that I run. And again, that scan is basically just volume to make sure that the stock that I'm looking for is liquid and I'm going to be able to get in and out of it. It's going to be a relative volume over 1.5. I want to know where the volume surges, where the interest is. And then any type of price filter that you might have. I actually kept these under 10 for this scan. Those seem to be the stocks that are really kind of putting in these crazy moves. So if I'm going to day trade something, I want to try to get as much bang for the buck as I can. So I went with some of these lower price stocks, but I didn't go too low. Prague with the lowest one today, 367 price. So what I did here, I'm basically looking for a area that is possible to get taken out. And I'm hoping that it is a resistance area that gets taken out on volume. Because the reality is that if you have a really tough resistance area or wall and that gets taken out on volume, there's a potential to actually run past that. In some cases, with some of these lower price stocks, that could be 5, 10, 15 cents, which makes for an excellent scalp trade. In other cases, sometimes these things go absolutely bonkers and trade 100, 200, 300% above when they actually break that resistance level. So it all depends on the eyeballs that are on it, who else is trading it. What I try to do is I try to find the area where the odds are going to be in my favor the most, where the risk reward is the best. And in some cases, that's not necessarily buying it at the dead bottom. It's knowing that, hey, if I buy it here, what happens next? If the stock comes right back in after I buy it, you know what? We're probably going to have to cut that and look for something else. The trade's not working. If the trade continues the way I anticipated, great. Now all we're doing is we're looking for an exit and we're looking to put profits in our pocket. So this is a pretty simple setup. Now on ACBA here, what I did was I basically looked at the daily chart first. All right, and I look for some really key levels. So one of the key levels, you can see that recently we're kind of pushing off of this bottom. We kind of had a nice little rounded bottom here, and now we're starting to push, and we're starting to do that on volume. So this is interesting to me. So when I'm looking at this, I mean, this looks like a pretty big run to kind of take out this last peak. Now that I'm looking at this, Jonathan, maybe we should add another line kind of right in here, just to kind of split that, because there might be a price battle on the way to 515 if we do in fact go that way. So I'm looking at this daily chart, and this chart right here is juicy. This looks like something could happen today. It doesn't mean that it's going to, but that it could. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to take a look at some of these recent levels that this stock was at and see what I can determine. Here's the other thing. You'll notice that 2 days ago, we had this really, really huge volume stick. We haven't seen anything like that since then. Now that price is 365, so we're ahead of that. That's important to note. I think that this buyer probably knew something or probably had some type of trade plan where this is going higher. The problem is we don't know what that plan is. We don't know where this is going to stop. However, this is one of the reasons that it actually came up on that scan to begin with. So I just want to kind of know what happened and keep that in the back of my mind. Today, I'm marking off these levels that were put in yesterday by this stock. If this really kind of sells off to 390 and kind of pushes back down here, I might look for a different stock to trade. It might just be too much of a sell-off right out the open for me to actually trade that. But in the meantime, we're going to watch these levels, right? We're going to try to buy on support and sell on resistance. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, well, that's just what I was going to reiterate, was you're looking for it to bounce off of the 412, 410, 406, and then move back on up on heavy bull volume.
Yeah, absolutely. And ideally, Jonathan, what I'd like to get is I'd like to actually trade down to 406, right? Because then I can actually scale out as we start to eclipse some of these other levels here, really kind of ensuring that I stay in profit. So that's how it goes with Aqua. We spent probably a little too much time here. Cody, this one really seems to be nice too. I mean, look at these past couple of days. Just tons of buying volume. I don't know that really dries up. So let's see what happens. What I'd like to see is, since this is up, pretty much $1 from Wednesday, I'd like to see this come back in a little bit, hold, and then try to make another up move. That's what I'm going to try to capture on Cody here. Again, that came from your relative volume scan. You can see it right here in the volume sticks. Last one here is Prague. Now, Prague's probably the one that I'm looking for the most because it's going to be one of the easier ones to trade. And I use that term easy really loose. Basically, Prague on huge volume yesterday put in a high at 374, came back in, kind of back and forth, did try to go back up towards that high, couldn't really get there yesterday, tried again in the after hours and couldn't quite get there, but we actually held that into the pre-market session today. So I suspect we take attempt number 2 to snap this 374. If we get that, I think you get a good 10 cents here on a scalp. This is my primary target right now, I would say, Prague. Now, as far as Torchlight, these were the ones that we did in movers, right? So let's actually do them again. Let's actually do the lines again together. I'm going to move through it really quickly, but please understand this is very, very simple to do. I just am selecting the horizontal line tool from the drawing tools menu on the left, and I'm just plopping them down on the chart where I see what looks like either a support or a resistance level. And I'm going to start with the near-term ones first because those are the levels that are going to be in play first. All right, so I'm just marking off these candles. I got one more here to do. And then maybe we want to mark yesterday's high because if that gets in play today, that's going to be an important level. Now let's, again, as always, let's take a look to the left and see if there's anything else that we can see. Now, okay, it looks like we've got a lot of the levels in here that we really need to pay attention to. One of the other ones might be in here. I don't know, not sure we get that high today, but let's see. Okay, so here are our levels. You can see exactly how easy that was to do. That took me, what, a minute and a half? Something like that. Really not long at all. We're going to do the same thing here on peers real quick. I see that people are asking for my thoughts on AMC. My thoughts on AMC is that it's junk and that it should be sold and that it's way too high. So sorry, I'm not one of the meme traders. I don't have diamond hands. I'm not part of that entire crowd. Take it for what it's worth. I'd be happy to be wrong on that. Okay, here we go. So with peers, we're doing the exact same thing. I'm just kind of marking off these levels. We're going to take another really quick look to the left. Up, looks like I got all of the real important ones. Maybe this one right here in case we really take off. All right, we're done with peers. Let's go on to space now. Start with an intraday chart. Let's kind of just mark these levels off. Am I getting killed in the chat? Nope. Okay, good. Sweet.
I'm looking at some dividends. There's a lot of dividend questions, so I'm just doing a little setup here.
Okay, awesome. We're going to do the same thing here. We are going to look to the left. Look to the left. Looking good. Looking good. Okay, let's zoom back in here. I see more people shouting out more stocks. I've got my watch list, folks. This is what we're looking at. Let's take a look. I do want to take a look at IKNX real quick and see what's going on here. A lot of people seem to be talking about it. Okay, this thing definitely gapping up nice. Let's see what kind of float. super low float. This is just not gonna work just because of the float for me, folks. That's just not part of my trading plan. Been burned before. If you're hammering low floats and you're successful, more power to you. Go at it. But I'm probably not going to trade this. Let's take a look at Prague. Let me check my phone before the market opens here. Sorry, man. We got crunch for time today.
No worries. I mean, this is our second time doing this trading live, right? So still getting used to the balance here. In the meantime, I will say we do have a dividend calendar. So people are asking, hey, how do you find out about the Torch dividend and Webull? Where was it? There's a bunch of other questions. So we actually have the dividend calendar with the X date, the distribution date, all that good stuff. And you can look up any ticker inside of Benzinga Pro and go to the calendar tab. So you can see all of that right there inside of Benzinga Pro. I don't know offhand where you'd find that on some of the other platforms, but you go to the calendar tab inside of the details tool on Benzinga Pro for specific companies.
All right, there is our opening bell. Let's take a look and see what we got, Jonathan. Let's see what we got. $352 also your daily pivot here on Prague. So I don't see that moving. Let's take a look at space. Space coming back in. 47.33 looks to be the first potential buy spot in terms of support and resistance there. Here it comes. Looks like up. Let me zoom in here, make it a little bit easier to see. It looks like that happened fast, right? We didn't quite get there, but man, we bounced off that. That's already up over a point on that bounce. We're going to check back in on space. No position there. That moved pretty quickly. Peers, here we go. So we started right at 489. I think 460 is next here. Maybe you catch a little bit of a bid around 470. Not sure, though. We're going to kind of wait this out. Jonathan, shout it out if you see anything.
Yeah, it looks like OSMT is battling around for, I think it's going to crash down. It might bounce around 460. We'll just waiting to see that there.
Space now came into its 47.33. Boy, I got dyslexia today. I cannot get this done. 47.33 looks like it's holding here. And it looks like this is going to actually break down. Oh, no, here we go. We're bouncing. We are bouncing. Man, I'll tell you what, this might be in play all day, Jonathan. We might not have to just play this right out of the open. I'm going to be able to play this all day today. Let's take a look and see what the options are doing.
Torchlight is moving on up 510 right now.
Oh, yeah. We didn't really come into that support. Bummer here. Now, if we snap 513, 525 could be on deck.
We'll see if this can hold up.
Okay, seller wall on Prague at 369, by the way. So that's your 370 here. It'll be interesting to see if this gets hit. I'm going to keep this on watch. Let's go back to Torchlight here. All right, they're on that wall on Prague. Oh, man, Jonathan, I do want to take this, but they're on that wall on Prague. Let me switch over to that because I'm kind of watching. We're watching Torchlight too. Man, we got two stocks here that we're kind of watching. Now, see with Torchlight on this potential trade here, I would have taken this on the 513. That's what I would have liked to have done. We'll see if we actually hit 525. No position. I didn't take this. I'm actually watching PROG. But for this particular trade, since we didn't come into 490, you might want to take that on a 513 snap. You're just hoping for a real quick 10, 12 cents there. Haven't got it yet. And then now we're kind of failing. So this is actually a really good lesson here. This is one of the reasons why I prefer to take trades that come into support first instead of trades that are trying to just snap a particular level.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every time we talk, Ryan, you're like, that's just what you're comfortable with. That's your plan, just to wait for it to come to you, to get a good entry, and then to bounce up off of that. So, yeah, I mean, it did run from $5 up to 520, but it was kind of a dice roll there. All right, I'm taking a look at Wish.
Oh man, my microphone's been muting on me. That's no good. All right.
That's funny. The Wish chart looked just like Torch. That's interesting.
And there goes Prague. There goes Prague. I was too slow because I was dealing with my damn microphone. Oh man, is that frustrating? Totally snapped 370 fast. Now it really hasn't run yet, so I don't want to chase though. Damn it, technology. God, that makes me so upset. I had this pegged. We only have 5 cents. It's not as if I missed a huge runner here, but man, I had that plan pegged. Took it off my screen for a second, and it hit. Oh, is that frustrating? And here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. So we're going to try to turn this into a lesson here. That is super, super frustrating. I'm sitting here watching this plan materialize, not in it. What I will say, though, is that be really careful when this happens, because I'm telling you right now, I am fighting the urge to slap that 377, and we're 7 cents over my buy point. Could it go further? Yes, it could. But and here it goes. So it's just, oh man, that is so frustrating, Jonathan. That is so frustrating. This is the type of thing that you're going to deal with as a trader. So you might as well be prepared and get ready to, to deal with that. Because the last thing that you want to do is really make it even more difficult for you. Looks like we got some resistance here at 380. That was taken out. Still volume coming into this name. See, this is exactly, and so let's examine the setup here, right? Yesterday, we had gigantic volume that put this high in at 374. Today, we immediately attacked that. I mean, it took 5 minutes to attack that spot. We snapped it. So that entire sell wall that held up yesterday was removed today. Now, the next question is going to be, is this 374 going to act as support, or is this stock going to come all the way back in? That we don't know yet. Little bit of a bummer here. Easy 10-cent scalp. Totally missed it due to the technology issue. What a bummer.
And what I find interesting is that heavy volume yesterday came around 10 o'clock.
So you might get it again today.
Yeah, possibly. And we've talked in the past about how most institutions are trading more than 15 minutes after the open. So if you compare those volume bars today, these are retail traders this morning. And then we'll kind of see what happens in a few minutes here when the big boys play. And if it'll continue to push up.
That's a really good point, Jonathan. And I'm actually not going to take this one off my screen. So I got this one on my broker. I'm going to watch that because I think that might happen again. Now we've actually put in a spot at 381 too, right? So if the machines come, or if the institutions come, 381 is your next spot there. And if we take that out on high volume, you could get another pop here today. Now, looking at space, Jonathan, this is the one that we kind of called. Let's take a look at what happened here with these levels. This is why we draw these candles, folks. This is exactly it. Soon as space opened, we kind of, as Dennis was saying, people are going to be selling it. A huge gap up. Anyone that was long yesterday is probably taking some profits. We came right into 47.33. This happened fast. We actually had this chart pulled up when this happened live. I'm not going to go out here and say that this was easy. This movement happened very, very quickly. And you can see it actually tested that 48.71 first, came back into 47.33, and then took 48.71 out and almost went to 49.48 to the penny. Looks like the top tick on that high candle was 49.42, off by 6 cents. Our levels were off by 6 cents. I'll take that on a $50 stock, Jonathan. That's really not bad at all. As soon as we ran into that resistance, we kind of bled back down here. Perfect example of how you can scalp a name that's got a whole bunch of activity in it. We identified a support and resistance area 3 actually just by the chart today. We laid the plan out and it hit. Obviously, was focused on a different one. You only have so many eyeballs, right? You can only put your focus in so many different spots.
Yeah. Let's see. James says sold GLBS, took 15 cents. Taking a look at that there. And then Lele, AEI making that move. AEI was moving up.
Ooh, this is one that we had not long ago too. So speaking of volume expansion, so we got another potential one. This would be one to watch throughout the rest of the day. In fact, I'm going to add this to my daily watches list because where is daily watches? Oh man, they really screwed me up, Jonathan, when they alphabetized one list and not the other. Alphabetized, not alphabetized. Alphabetized. Anyway. Okay.
I'll withhold my.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Cody may be getting ready. Thank you for the spot. Super duper Hasid Farm Boy. Hope I got that. Lele with the eyes. Yes, she does. Lele does have the eyes. She was nailing it yesterday. Okay, so with Cody. So Cody, this was added from the overnight scan that we did. So again, what I was looking for here is relative volume because I'm hoping that the recent high gets taken out on volume. That's going to be my entry trigger, right? And so what we have here is instead of this was like the reverse of Prague, right? So as soon as Prague opened, we attacked that resistance area and we snapped it. It's come back in now, but let's see. It looks like it might be turning around. We'll come back to this. We attacked that resistance area and snapped it on Prague. Cody, we have the opposite type of trading action here. We actually came back into a support. Now, interestingly enough, this wasn't yesterday's lows, but this was the first area where it started to flag. We came right back into that area and we've bounced off of it pretty good. We're 9 cents now above that area. So it'll be interesting to see if this holds. I would say if this holds and we start creeping back towards some of these higher levels, I would say that 956 is in play. Right now, feels a little heavy. Let's see what happens. I'm trying to take a look at the chat too.
FRX from the past few days. I'm looking at the 5-minute chart now. All right, so it's moving up again. But that daily past 3 days has been huge.
Randall in the chat says Ryan talks like he's doing meth. Bro, the opening is a crazy time, man. The opening is a crazy time. And so, okay, so Mitch was talking about CCIV. I actually really like this. I like the car. I think that's what it is, really. It's just biased from the car. Really, really like the car. I think it looks so much better than Tesla. I think everything about it looks better than Tesla. I've never really driven the two of them, so I can't speak to that. But in terms of looks, I think, the Lucid Motors car just slaps Tesla around like a child. Just crazy. However, the stock really, really struggling. The pipe at 15 really killed this thing. I mean, there was so much mo behind this name, and then to be able to get private equity in at $15 really kind of killed it. Nice to see it find a base here. I think one of the things that we're looking for here in terms of a swing trade is we're actually looking for this to take out this high here, about 28 bucks. Let me actually adjust this and make it a little bit more accurate. Yeah, 28 bucks. So it looks like we tried to take this out before, met some resistance there. If we snap 28, here's to be a nice swing long, probably towards 40, maybe 35 to get some initial resistance. So, and actually this has pretty good options too, doesn't it? Space looking a little heavy, by the way, after that initial trade. Options here. Yeah, these oh yeah, this is I would absolutely use options to play this name. Tons of liquidity, tons of open interest in multiple expirations and multiple strikes. Yeah, for sure. That's what we're looking for here on CCIV. Looking a little heavy though. Let's see what happens. I think Mitch liked this one too, right? I don't know if we've got any context on it. Let me see if I can really quickly find that. Okay, so the catalyst Lucid Dreamers have been waiting for. Churchill Capital sets the Lucid deal vote for July 22nd. Okay, here comes the rocket. All right, so I'd like to get the entire trade plan from Mitch out of that.
Working on it as we speak.
Hey, there. Hey. So tell me about what's your hope here with this, Mitch?
So right now I'm looking for like a red to green move. So it's tried to support multiple times. This would be the third test on the 1 minute scale. So really what I'm looking at the pre-market support, kind of near that 822 period, 833. You see this 2534s right now that it's bouncing off of. That's what's getting me interested, because what happens is a lot of the times the day traders get washed out right at the open.
That's right.
It comes back down towards that 5 minute support. And then I like to do the red to green buy, because at least I have the next support right underneath it to consider my risk.
Sweet. I love that trade plan. And it seems like you're doing something very similar, right? You're looking for some of those pre-market support and resistance areas, and then you're trading against those or trying to capture those. Is that accurate? Maybe he left
accurate
us.
enough to where I just got my first buy-in.
He's trading. Way to go, my man. Way to go.
Yeah, just full disclosure, I just got in a little bit, starting to size in a little bit, looking for a move closer down towards 25.10. I'll size in towards that, and that'll be the risk right underneath it at 25. But right now, I'm just starting the starter, as you see in the pop off of that pre-market support. So if I only get this small amount of shares to go up, I'll be okay with that. But if it does get me to size in, it's okay, because I'm literally looking to size in as it comes down towards that level. And so that's the plan. So at least the emotions stay tight and focused on the risk and return.
And real quickly, we're going to revisit the trade that I had pegged that I missed. This is why you do not chase. This is a graphical representation of why I sat there frustrated, not chasing the stock. Because if you do not hit your spots correctly and it reverses, now I'd be negative, and I'd be negative. It wouldn't be, I'd actually only be negative about 6 cents, 7 cents, but still, this is exactly why we don't chase. This is why I was frustrated. All right, let's check out Cody. Oh man, here we go. There's definitely some interest in here. So remember what we were talking about before. I was looking a little heavy. We were wondering if we could really kind of hold above this level. Not only did we do that, but we took out 940, right? So now we want to hold at 940. If we take out 949, I think it's on, man. I think it's on here. Let me go ahead and pull this one up in my broker. Prague moving to the back. Cody in full force now here today. I shouldn't say full force, because that's actually in force is actually a strat term, and that's not accurate right now. I want to represent the strat accurately here. Okay, so I'm kind of waiting here. Using the support and resistance method, I'd actually like for a little bit of an interim pullback towards 940 before actually loading up here. We'll see if I get it. I may not. I may not. It's usually smash that like for Ryan and Jen. Okay. Hey, Ryan, looks like EMPH from yesterday. Roman, nice to see you again, Roman. Roman is joins our happy. Oh my God, EMPH from yesterday. You're exactly right. What did we say yesterday, Roman? What did we say on this, right? When we were drawing these, we'd like to see it break above this level. So not only did it break above that level, it gapped above that level, and boy, is it moving. And we've got some volume in there. Real good. So this is one of those. I said yesterday on the happy hour when we were discussing this, that the solars, there's something going on there. I think we're early.
You're on mute.
Yeah, his microphone's giving him the lovely works.
Dude,
Ryan, I got you. I'll give you some solar names that most people don't know about. Look at Beam, BEEM. Most people don't know about this one. This is going to be an addition to the Russell today. So looking to see if this one can continue. And I'll just throw out some solar stocks.
So hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. This was one I was trading before the ticker change.
Oh, you know it
before this. I do know this one. What's the
I'm
ticker
surprised. I found this one. So you got to inform me, Ryan. Looks like you know more than me.
No, it was EVSI, I think, right? EVSI. Let me see.
Oh, you were trading that like crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we don't. And that was it. Let me actually look that up off screen here. I'm 99% certain this was EVSI. Traded this in the past. I was definitely early because, man, it wasn't $40 and it wasn't being added to the Russell. Did you say Russell, Mitch? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
I'll put the list in the chat for anyone that wants to needs that Russell list.
Nice.
So my browser is losing connection to the mic. Interesting. I wonder what's going on there. Maybe okay, whatever. So the stock that I was tipped off about yesterday was Run. A real smart trader that I trust a lot said he was seeing some stuff and run, started to build his position yesterday. Now we're seeing it today. Looks like Jeff shouted that out in the chat. Absolutely. TAN would be, I think, another one. This is the solar ETF, right? This is the one that Jonathan, remember the unusual options trade that we highlighted for a couple of weeks in TAN? That was a nice one.
Yeah.
That was a nice one. Yeah, that was back here. That was back here. We traded this little move, and you can see that move was kind of short-lived, but now the next one, this was the big move that I was hoping for. We actually didn't get it when I bought those first set of options. Looks like we might be getting it now. I'm telling you, man, solar's the hot. Good call, Mitch.
And FRX, man.
Yeah, that one's going to be turning over to body, the ticker body soon. And so that one's, I think what we're seeing is also, that's why I brought up the CCIV vote date announcement. Things like this is really starting to affect SPACs. So you got to keep on watch whenever you get vote announcements or the switch over to the next ticker.
Yeah. Blind Trader. Nice to see you, my man. Good morning. Happy Friday. Webcoin says Beam, no volume. Beam, that was a low float. That was a low float solar play. So yeah, volume might be low until some buyers really step in there.
I can throw out some other solar names here. Max N. Max N's one that definitely keep on watch. This is one that I've had at 17. Kind of mad that I sold it, of course. But
this one though, nice looking chart here though, Mitch. Nice,
yeah, I like
nice
it.
Looking. I think the bottom's in. I agree with you.
You can look at Sol, SOL. That's another one. Kind of a later laggard move, starting to just move. So keep your eyes on that one. But definitely the leaders, ENPH, like you showed a little bit earlier, Enphase.
Yeah.
First Solar is another good one, but it gapped up a significant amount on the news yesterday. We'll see if it continues to run. Now, a lot of this has to do with that Biden talk, right, Brian?
Yeah.
You heard about the solar kind of taking China, that battle with China. So I think, you're starting to see who's going to win in solar, right? I mean, Chinese has always kind of won before this. Now can the U.S. really step up, really start making solar panels, getting the materials they need to kind of continue to go into the EV world, right? I mean, this is kind of the generational play.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, I think that we're real early in that, right? I think that we're really early in that first, second inning, Mitch, to borrow the baseball term. So I think there's going to be plenty of opportunity in here right now. Definitely, EMPH seems like a leader.
Look at CCIV started to take off. Looks like I'll only get my starter in. It didn't come back down and test the low on the 1 minute, so I'll just leave that in there. And that's the way I do it, guys.
Absolutely. Love the discipline, Mitch. Love the discipline. I just had a lesson on not chasing. So great to hear you say the same thing.
It sucks because sometimes you do want to add, but you have to respect your entries.
Right.
If you don't respect it, that's when you start seeing yourself get chopped out in the middle like a pig. And I always say either be a bear or a bull. It's the one in the middle that gets caught all the time, and that's what I don't like to be.
And so when people are talking about adding to your winners, would that be more applicable for you guys on a swing trade instead of a day trade? That's really the difference there.
Absolutely, Jonathan. You really hit it right on the head with that. Adding to winners is something that you're doing over a longer time frame. You can do that if you have a process for it on a day trade. In my experience, though, when I'm day trading, I'm looking to get out quickly. An ideal day trade for me is one that I'm in for less than a minute. And so if I'm in a trade for less than a minute, it's not likely I'm going to be adding to that as it continues to go up. I'm going to be waiting for my exit. It's just about the thought process at that point. Adding to winners means that especially if it's a swing trade, means that you're adding to a plan that is working. So the only thing to actually consider when you add is, how does this change your risk profile? If this trade starts to go against you, what are you going to do in order to protect your profits and ultimately your portfolio?
I like Richard's comment there. Don't get slaughtered.
Richard knows his stuff. Richard knows his stuff. He's right on with that.
And then Aaron saying, looking like a cup and handle on SLGG. I know you were in SLGG before.
I still am. So real quickly, the full disclosure of my last trade, I was an SLGG sub 2 of a 193 cost basis, ended up selling it right shy of 10. So we looked at a pretty huge trade there on this huge move up. As it started to come back down, I started to add around the 8 handle. My price right now is $7.25, so I am considerably underwater. Let me go back to what that was. Looking like a cup and handle on SLGG, so this is what he's talking about here, which means that next move should be a nice little bounce there. Was out at 620, got back in at 498 on an uptrend now, looking for it to return to pre-pandemic levels at 8. Okay, Aaron, looks like you traded that really well. You did a better job than I did on your second leg. Congratulations, hats off to you. I like what you're looking at here. I agree. I think that if we kind of take out this level here, especially if we take that out on volume, next stop is almost certainly 8. I think that eventually this stock is going to be a double-digit stock. The reality is that the CEO right now loves to spend money. So we're all, especially on days after it trades up, we are in fact looking out for an offering, right? We want to hope that doesn't happen. So if we get a nice pop on this next time, that might be something to consider. I was definitely in this for the long term. I actually really like this company. I like the CEO, despite her wanting to spend money. I actually really like her. I think she does a great job. So going through the chat.
You're on mute again. It looks like IKNX, that came up a bunch earlier. You back on? Yeah, there we go. You're back.
Yeah. So here's the thing on IKNX. This is a really sweet gap. All right. So if you're in this, awesome. Really, really sweet gap up there. However, if we're trying to trade this today, where's the trade here? I don't really see it. We're kind of in no man's land until we come back into a support level here. Let's take a look at a 5 minute and see what we get. Yep. To me, there's just no trade here. I don't have an edge yet. Maybe if volume comes in and changes the picture, that's possible a little bit later. I just don't see it right now. All right, guys. I actually have a meeting at 10 o'clock. I'm going to have to jump off a little bit early. I apologize for that. Good stuff today. Really, my technical issues really need to get resolved. Caused me to miss this trade today, but it's better to miss a trade than to take a loss. Remember that. And also remember, don't chase. We had a nice little lesson here on don't chase. So thanks, everybody. Unfortunately, I do have to call it a little early today. Do we have a producer back there?
See if Mitch is still around.
I'm still live. Still live. Spencer seems to, he's a little busy at the moment, but we can hang out. We can hang out. Are you guys both got out of here?
No, it's just me. I got to get to another meeting.
Just Ryan? Okay, well, don't worry. I got Jonathan. Well, I'll be okay, man. We'll miss you, Ryan, though.
I'm going to miss you guys, too. Believe me, I wouldn't leave unless I had to.
We enjoyed the excitement today. Smash the like if you guys enjoyed the excitement from Ryan. Rewind that if you guys didn't see the open. And that's what it's all about, guys. We're the transparency there. You guys can tell Ryan was really trying to trade. You guys saw the emotion. And that's what it's all about, really, at the open here with Ryan and Jonathan Mallard. Thank you guys for doing what you guys did today. I mean, Jonathan's going to stick around. Looks like Spencer can join up again also. Looks like awesome. Spencer's going to jump in.
I'm always here, guys. I'm just lurking.
Boom. Exactly. He's lurking.
Have a great weekend, folks.
All right, take care, Ryan.
I think what's up?
Just someone was asking why SoFi is down.
So this is an interesting thing. Wait, who's that? Someone was asking that recently because somebody was asking that in a couple hours ago as well. I believe we have a headline. The headline itself is a little bit confusing. Okay. So let me bring it up on the screen. And again, I'm long SoFi. What I think this headline is saying is that there was a filing out this morning. The filing itself, there was a filing out, and there was like nothing in it, right? It was basically like an empty filing. But what I think the filing implies is that there's a lockup expiration for the PIPE investors in SoFi on Monday. Okay, so for executives, insiders. Oh, wait, let's just read the headline, all right? Rather than me just go off memory, let's just read the damn headline together, okay? 827, right? SoFi shares down 4% in pre-market session. Recent SEC filing shows notice of effectiveness of Form S1. That's what the filing was, is a notice of effectiveness. What does that even mean, though? Okay, here's one at 932. We have a busy note on SOFA filing from this morning. It shows effectiveness for a conclusion of lockup period. Lockup set to expire on Monday, June 28th. For shareholders who own more than 5% of the company and certain executives, this lockup does not apply to PIPE investors. And then a minute later, PIPE investors were not subjected to lockup and were authorized to sell their shares after the May 28th merger completion. So basically, there is a lockup for any shareholder that owns more than 5% of the company. And that lockup expiration is on Monday. That's what the filing said. It was a very confusing, but good job by our news desk to interpret that. I did see SoFi last I checked was down about $1. I don't know. I'm sure it's not there now because that was a couple hours ago by this point. So let's pull up a chart and we can see. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. Okay, so it's down down $2 now. Okay. So again, I am long SoFi. But that appears to be the news today, is that there was a filing. Let me show you guys the filing. It had nothing in it. Okay. Here. This is in my Benzinga Pro newsfeed. I have a separate tab just for SEC filings and press releases, right? And come on, buddy.
I don't know why it's loading slow.
There you go.
Today.
There you go. Okay, so this is the filing, right? 6:06 a.m., right? This is it. This is the whole thing. That is the whole thing. Notice of effectiveness, okay, of their S1. That's all it said. So great job by our news desk to interpret what the hell this nothingness actually says, because it does say something. And we have it in the newsfeed right there in the BZ Wire. Okay, so that's the, Chris Cathie was super helpful with that. Chris, the guys on our news desk, Charles, Brent, Bill, were all, I was, watching them trying to interpret that because it wasn't obvious. But anyway, that's the news on SoFi this morning. So that's why it's down 7%. Geez, dear Lordy, I guess that's what $2 is, right? On a $21 stock.
Someone bought 200 call contracts, the August $20 contracts at 932. So that's interesting to me.
Yeah, that could mean they're bullish, or it could just mean they're short and they're hedging.
Right.
So this stinks for me, right? As a SoFi shareholder, to be honest with you guys, I don't remember when look at the daily. Ouchie, wouchie. I don't remember when I'm sure I bought somewhere. I think I bought somewhere in this area. So I'm down in SoFi now, but I have no intention of selling this thing. So you shouldn't really. You should take what I say with a grain of salt, because I'm kind of hodling the crap out of this right now. I'm not in this for a trade. So, is the desktop application you're using available to download? Well, even easier, Stephen. It's actually not an application. It's browser-based. Can you believe it? pro.benzinga.com. Link is up on the bottom of the screen. I'll make it bigger.
Yeah, you can get free access for 2 weeks. No credit card required. Just pro.benzinga.com.
In your browser.
And then actually, if it works out well for you, we've got some crazy deals going on through the end of the month for the Essential Plan or the new Options Mentorship Bundle. So you could always reach out to me through that blue bubble in the bottom right corner of the platform, or give us a call. Or
you can email Jonathan, and I'll tell you how to do that right now. You can email Jonathan at onboarding@benzinga.com, and Ryan too.
Exactly.
You email that, and there's a 50% chance one of you guys is going to respond. Maybe less than that. Maybe not 50% chance. Maybe.
I mean, our team has grown, so you could get us if you ask for us. Then they'll funnel it our way. But we got Mike, Joni, Joel, Arturo. We got lots of people.
So back in the day, there was a 50% chance that Mallard was going to respond, but those days are over, I think.
I mean, I'll make time for sure.
There's the email again. Website pro.benzinga.com. Promo code has been going at the bottom of the screen for the last hour or whatever. So there it is. So SoFi is what was asked about. Wait, here's a good one. Before we move on, Scruff McGuff. I have Pro, and I would love to learn how to leverage it to its max potential. What is the process of accomplishing this? Well, Scruff McGruff, I'm so glad you asked that question. There's a couple of things I could say. Number one, it can never hurt to email the onboarding, right? You can email them and be like, hey guys, can I get some tips and tricks, right? That's one avenue. We also do and by we, I don't mean me, I mean Jonathan, does very frequent webinars. Mallard, maybe you can enlighten the people about when these webinars happen and how to find them.
See, for some reason, I don't think I can post it in the chat, but I'm posting it in the private chat with you.
Okay.
The
All
link.
right, I'll put it in there.
There we go. Just throw this into the YouTube chat.
Okay.
This is a direct link to my calendar for group demos. So usually it's like 10 to 25 people or so. Everyone can ask questions, and we can just go through it. Some day trading setups, some swing trading setups. So honestly, that's probably the best way. Or you could always go to pro.benzinga.help if you want to see some of those past recordings.
There we go. Link in chat. And you know what? For those of you who are, I'll put it up on the screen there. Okay. So there's the link. It's a long ass link. It's easier to click on, right? But it's
I need to learn how to construct those links better in Calendly, but
you know what I'm gonna do right now in chat here. Let me just do this real fast. I'm just gonna pin it. Okay. I'm gonna pin that link to the top of the chat so you guys can easily access it. Give me 1 second. There we go. So now it's pinned. Okay. So that's the link to Jonathan's personal calendar, and you can get a demo that way. And those would be, Scruff McGruff asked, how to learn how to really get the most out of the platform. That's what I would say, is have somebody else walk you through it, right?
and then if needed, after you attend that, we could even do a one-on-one session.
Yeah,
we can do that too. I just don't give that link out to everybody in the public. But if we'll do whatever it takes to make it happen for you.
Yeah. Okay, so Jordan sees a negative reaction to this, especially with SoFi having a lot of retail investors and being Chamath's back. Yeah, the crowd's turned against Chamath a little bit, but I think the further we get away from all the merger dates, Jordan, I think the more the likelihood that all these individual SPACs or stocks trade on their own and not all as one unit. I love I love SoFi as like a company, as a business. Forget the SPAC, forget Chamath, forget all that stuff, right? Do you like the business? I like the business. That's why I bought it. Okay, what else? Did you guys talk about IKNX? It sounds like a super small one to me.
Yeah, we were talking about IKNX earlier.
Yeah. Okay, that may have been when I was planning for later on in the day. Yeah. Oh, what's going on there? Super slow. Here's my scanners tool. Oh, it's not on the screen. There it is. There's my scanners tool that I use every day, beginning at 9:30, ending at 4 o'clock during the market hours to get a feel for what's up and what's down. I do have some filters on. I do filter out the low priced and the low market cap stocks because I only want to get a feel for stocks that have some volume and are decently thick. And so today, JKS jumps out to me. They had earnings this morning, did they not? Jinko Solar? I think they did. They did. Let's go to the details widget. Let's go to JKS. There is the chart. Let's go to the calendar. See the numbers. There you go. June 25th. That's today. In the pre-market session, they reported 15 cents earnings per share versus a 2-cent loss estimate. So they blew that number away. Revenue of 1.2 versus 1.1. So basically in line on the revenue, but a big earnings beat for Jinko Solar. So back to the chart we go. And we see it up 7%, though off its highs of the session. Very nice day for JKS. Very nice, very interesting week for solar. There was the headline the other day about tariffs on Chinese solar companies. That was good for the U.S. Solars and bad for China obviously. And JKS sort of falling in here. I can even show you if you don't know Jinko Solar, you don't know where it is, you don't know what kind of company. Information down there. This is a Chinese company. So, yeah, there it is. Down up 7%.
There we go. Steven asking, would you guys ever build an API to find support and resistance? We definitely want to put that into our platform and then available for use even outside of the platform. Most of the other data that you see in here is available via API through a licensing department, but that doesn't come with a Benzinga Pro subscription. But yeah, we definitely would like to build more tools, more and more and more. So it's as much of a one-stop shop as possible. So great question, Steve.
Great question. Hey Mallard, how long you wanna hang out with me for?
I mean, it's always a party hanging out with you, Spencer. I thought I was going to be here till 10, but I just let it roll. You know,
just let it roll. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't want. I'm sure you have like demos and things. I don't want you to keep you, but I would love for you to hang as long as you can, and but don't feel like you got to stay because I know you've got other things going on. So.
Well, let's see here. Someone's asking about, show me the pre-market toggle. I can't find it. I think that's talking about the movers tool.
Okay, so here we go. Let me just get rid of the newsfeed here. So let's undo that. So I have a whole tab. I use different tabs, right? For all different. I use tabs religiously. That's how I organize my Benzinga Pro. I have a tab that I call to movers, and let me just get rid of the newsfeed there. So I have in this movers tabs. You know what? Let me close it all out for you. This is just a basic page with nothing on it, right? I use the movers tool. And I use it twice, okay? So there's one movers tool, and then I'm going here and add it again, right? So I have two movers tools, right? And the first one, the one on the left, I have just for gainers and just pre-market. You can filter by the top little menu there, right? I have gainers, I have pre-market, and I have the whole session, okay? Now I see every stock that is up in the pre-market. And on the right, I want my losers. Losers, pre-market, session, boom. I got my gainers on the left, my losers on the right. And this is what I use every single day. This is the very first thing that I look at in the morning when I come in, just to see what's up and what's down. And then I can go to a newsfeed and see why. So OSMT, which looks like a really small one, heavy volume, probably some drug news. Oh, look at that. 6:54 this morning. They reported a deal with a Laura Pharma to sell their portfolio of legacy products and their manufacturing facility in Georgia for a $110 million upfront payment and maybe some more money later on. So OSMT is our top gainer, and there we have a headline. But this is what I use on the pre-market, right? Just to see what's up and what's down. You can also use this for the regular session. I just choose not to. This is how I use it, and this is I have it set just for the whole session, but you can change your time frame. You can look for just specific sectors. I want the whole market. You can filter. I do usually do a filter. I'll filter out like low price stocks, just because they're always going to be huge movers. So I'll just filter out the things that are below $5 because they don't really interest me. And that's how I set up my movers tool every day.
There's 3 questions I want to answer here. Thank you for that, Spencer. That's a great way to set it up. Number 1 is, what time does it start picking up movement? 4 a.m. Yeah, if the market's open, it picks it up. So when things start moving at 4 a.m., you'll see it show up on the pre-market. It measures the percent change there since the previous close, but you'll see those numbers appear at 4 a.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
And then talking about, it looks like Imperia Fanatica was talking about the chart for trading view, actually.
Oh, my bad.
So in order to make that pre-market shading appear, I mean, you just kind of have to zoom in, and it depends on your candle aggregation and the size of your screen if you just want to look at the pre-market. But there's a gear cog in the upper right corner. And if you click on that and then click on appearance, it's the session breaks checkbox. So if you click on it, it'll make the shading appear. If you deselect it, it'll make it go away. So that's how you can make it look different. And then you can just zoom in or zoom out however you want to. And then another question here from Theater Guy. Am I wrong, or a scanner at 10 seconds versus movers 5 minutes in the pre-market? You're basically right. The scanner is the movers tool on steroids. So faster time frames available, real-time updates available, 1 minute, 1 minute volume, 1 minute change percent, all that good stuff. So Spencer, if you don't mind bringing up the scanner really quick, I just want to show them the difference here between the two.
Yep.
So basically on the scanner, it might be hard for some of you to, I have to expand my screen so I can see what Spencer's
All right,
doing.
you want me to zoom in? I'll zoom in. I'll zoom in for you.
All right, cool. So anyways, at the top of the scanner, the first thing that I would point out is the presets. It looks like it shifted down to the second row there. So if you're looking for short-term volatility, you can click on 5-minute movers, and it's looking at gainers and losers in the past 5 minutes, moving at least 2%. It sets the market cap at a minimum of $2 billion and a minimum volume of 50,000 shares in the past 5 minutes. Notice how only one stock is showing up. So it's different because stocks will go on or go off of this list as they meet those criteria within the rolling time frame. Now, what's cool here is you can adjust those presets. You click on filters at the top of the screen, and then you can change, all right, maybe I'm looking for small cap stocks. I can change that maximum to 2 billion. Or maybe instead of a 50,000 volume, I can lower that. And then if you scroll down, you have all of these different change percent thresholds. So if you're looking to be really quick with your scalping, you could change it from 2% over the past 5 minutes to maybe 0.5% within the past 1 minute, or 0.7% in the past 1 minute.
Let's make it 1% in the last 1 minute. That's a big move, actually. No, 0.5% in the last minute. Let's just see. There, I did it over there, not over there. So
okay, so yeah, you can see you're getting a lot more moves here, and remember, these could be stocks that are actually down for the day, like you're seeing a lot of red tickers there, but they could be bouncing. So there's lots of different unique technical situations that you can scan for here, and very soon you should find even more on there, like the short float, relative volume. We've got a lot up our sleeves here within the next few weeks.
This is a great feature, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've never utilized the preset before, and I'm going to start right now. I'll be honest with you, Jonathan. I was making my own filters, and no, presets are just way easier.
I mean, that's the goal. It can be a little overwhelming if you're brand new, so that's why we made the presets, and then you can always adjust it. You know, you don't have to be locked in to those settings.
Wait, I want to change this to losers. There we go. All right, I got overall gainers, overall losers. There you see space, and actually, and I've talked about this before. I prefer the change percent. I prefer this column. I'm sorry, no, wrong one. I prefer this column. Right, the change percent from the open. That's what I like to look at, not the change percent from the previous close, because I know that there is a whole other world in the pre-market and after-hour session that it goes into that, right? But change percent at the open is what I like to look at, because I've already seen what the pre-market moves were. I know that, for space, for example, I know it was up huge this morning, right? So I see space up. 22% from the previous close, but all that move happened this morning, right? Let's pull up a space chart. That entire move happened this morning. Let me zoom out. Okay. I would rather go and look at from the open, and now I can see, okay, it's up a little bit, but it was also down for the day from the open for a decent part of today's session so far, right? And that tells me more of what I want to know, right? So I much prefer to look at the change. Let me zoom back in. I much prefer to look at change percent from the open than I do, and I'm going to sort by that actually, than I do from the previous close. That's just my personal feeling and preference. Then it sort of filters out all the crazy moves that already happened, right, overnight. Those moves are done. We're done with that. Right.
That's good.
So, like a good example would be, maybe not. I'm trying to find one that, actually, Jinko Solar is a great example. Jinko, okay, JKS. If you were going from the previous close, you would say, Oh, it's up. I mean, obviously it's up, right? Whatever, 8%, right? But it was down. It was actually down this morning at the pre-market, right? It was down. So it opened lower today. So it's actually up more from the open than it was from the close. And that to me tells the full story.
Absolutely. So yeah, you guys can see there's a lot of different ways you can filter this down to find the exact stocks you're looking for. Jeff, that's awesome. I'm glad that we can give you a little bit more firepower on here. He says, I was hunting stocks with a pea shooter, BZ Pro's a bazooka. That's the goal. Take out those stocks. And yeah. So I don't know. I'm just here. Like I said, I'm here for the party, Spencer. What else do we have?
Really, my plan was, so I had a couple options with things I wanted to do, maybe. One of them was just hang out with you guys. And Jonathan, don't kill me, but I have been occasionally turning on the squawk for the people on YouTube. So they can
no, that's fine. Yeah.
So they can get a feel for what Charles sounds like. So let me do that for you right now. My other plan, if you guys wanted, was, I know that Dave Portnoy was in the news yesterday, and he gave a viral interview, and I wanted to replay our interview that he did with Jason Raznick. But that was only if we sort of decided that we had enough fun on the Benzinga Pro front. So let me turn on. I'm zoomed in too much, aren't I?
Yeah.
There we go. Let me turn on the squawk. Okay. And now we have Benzinga Charlie, aka Charles, aka OG Squawk Master, aka Squawk Master Flex, and he will just squawk for a little bit. Whenever there was a headline that is squawk worthy. If you haven't heard Charles, you can hear him in Benzinga Pro. You can hear him in Thinkorswim on TD Ameritrade. He's been squawking headlines for Benzinga for, I don't know, 9 years. He's been squawking in general for like several decades. And yeah, so this is one of the most known features and loved features, I would say, of Benzinga Pro. So there was that. I was going to turn on the squawk and basically just watch the market with you guys and just see what's up, what's down, what are we trading. Keeping an eye on movers, right? That's why I love this scanner tool, right? Because it's constantly updating, right? Every few seconds.
Exactly.
And then normally
ACXP, Acurx Pharmaceuticals, Alpha Charlie X-Ray Papa shares opening at $5.95. IPO price at $6.
Wait.
That's Alpha Charlie X-Ray Papa.
Thank you, Alpha Charlie X-Ray Papa. Alpha Charlie X-Ray Papa. Thank you, Charles. Let's go to the chart. Oh, did it just open? It just opened. Look at that. Charles just squawked the opening in an IPO, which he does pretty much every day. And again, the point is you shouldn't have to be glued to your news feed.
SHOO,
okay,
Sandy Hotel, Oscar, Steve Madden. Share is near the highs now, 45.32, hearing it's a new long idea from the Oxford Club being circulated now. That's SHOO.
I don't even know what the Oxford Club is, I'll be honest with you guys. I've never heard of that one before.
WISH shares moving here, 1460. The July $30 call sweep now on WISH, Context Logic. Shares moving higher on WISH, Whiskey India Sandy Hotel.
See, that's just 3 quick ideas.
Yeah.
From Charles just there. Wish, Shoe, and I already forget what the IPO was. Wait, let's go to a newsfeed and see.
I think it was AXSC.
Maybe. Let me go back. It was ACX, Alpha Charlie, X-Ray. Yeah, that's what it was. ACXP. 3 quick ideas, right? And the point is, thank you, WK Harris. The whole point is you shouldn't have to be glued to your pro screen to be able to catch ideas, because obviously you've got charts, you've got your trading platform, you've got other things to look at, right? You can't be looking at the newsfeed all day. We understand that. So his job is to bring ideas to your ears.
And what I want to point out there is notice how he said that it was being circulated.
Yeah.
Like that's not even a headline. That's the fact that this this information is being circulated by traders on various chat rooms. So like there's not even a headline for that yet. So it's really valuable just to have that additional sentiment through the squawk.
Yeah, great point, Jonathan. Man, that's such a good point, right? So like digging into those words a little bit, right? Report being circulated, right? People are talking about a stock. We may not always have a headline for every single thing that Charlie squawks, right? His job is not just to squawk headlines before they're being typed out. His job is to see what's being talked about in other places of the street, and just if he sees something, he says something, right? And so you can just see it right there. I have the chart of Wish open, okay, and I have a news feed of it, and there's, he beat. I'm not even sure if we're gonna post a headline about it. Probably not, because it was just talked about as being it was at the high of the day. He squawked about it being at the high of the day. That's not headline worthy necessarily, but if you're trading it, it's certainly notable.
Right.
So there may not even be a headline about that.
Yeah, so he could be, he said something, I think, about unusual call volume. It could be on volume. It could be on a news item. It could be on high of the day, or it could be an economic event that affects the entire market. Yep. So it's and we are developing additional squawk feeds, but it's very hard to do what he does.
So
those decades of experience, having those connections, knowing which sources to follow, and then basically giving that to all of us on a silver platter. So hats off to you, Charlie. Thanks for what you do every day. It's an awesome service. But we're trying to develop some additional feeds like squawk options, squawk futures, etc. So stay tuned for that.
Yep. Great point there. Hector Garcia. Honestly, Hector's probably right. Squawk alone is worth the price of admission. I think a lot of people would
MNMD Mind Medicine, the August 2.5 call sweep now shares popping here. Michael November, Michael Delta.
Just had this up earlier.
Okay, so that got squawked at it when it was at 368. Okay, that's about when it got squawked. 368. Let's just keep it on our screen here.
Yeah, we'll see if that breaks this high.
All right, let's zoom out and see if there's any actual. And look, there's the headline. Charles beat it by 30 seconds. Not really seeing a lot on this chart. This is a year to date. This was the one that uplisted, right? Yeah, you can see it. This is the one. They uplisted it. They were on the OTCQX and they went to NASDAQ, and that was a sell the news event if I've ever seen one. So, Mark says Alpha's moving. When is Alpha not moving? Oh, man. Wait a minute. Yeah. Alpha's moving. You're right about that. This is a low float name. You gotta be careful of that. Let's go back to a 1 year. Oh my goodness. Yep. I would never bet against a stock at all-time highs. Ever. Ever. And that's where Alpha is right now. I agree with you. Poppable. Alf is crazy. All right, looks like Jonathan Mallard is going to call it a day. That's totally fine. I know he's got things to do, places to go, people to see, demos to do, calls to make, people to talk to, pro to walk through. So you can always. Oh, he says he lost internet. Oh, Jonathan, we got to get you some better internet, man. What do you have? Short Comcast? Is that what we're... He's got to tell us what internet he has so we can short that. What would be my play for Alf? So personally, these aren't like the stock isn't really my style. I would find let's just zoom. Let's go to a 5-day. No, there's no. All right. So like, if you had a gun to my head and say trade this thing right now, here's what I would do. I would zoom in. Okay, so we had a couple of. This is a 1-day chart. So we had some congestion at like the $17 area.
ATOS, Atosa Therapeutics, more call activity. October $10 call sweep, Alpha Tango Oscar Sandy. ATOS.
All right, so let's just do this. Let's just bring up a much larger chart of ALF, if I can. Okay. Let's bring up the gun to my head, Spencer. You have to trade it. All right, let's bring up the VWAP. I would. Oh, look at that! Look at that VWAP. It does work. The VWAP trade does work. It's crazy how often that thing works. You wait for a stock to get down to the VWAP, and then that's a buy signal right there. It's crazy how often that works. Get at or near it, right? Obviously, it's not always exact. That's crazy. So that's what I would do. Wait for it to
Shares of Atosa Therapeutics spiking to the highs, $9.57, up 17.5%. ATOS.
That's what I would do. Okay. Here's an interesting question from Quebec. Any good water ETFs besides CGW? Yeah, what's the wow, there's what's the big one? I'm gonna look it up right now. PHO. PHO is the largest water ETF by assets, right? The Invesco one. Oh, let's get rid of the VWAP for that. PHO Quebec. I don't know. I don't really know how they've performed this year. I mean, you can see PHO right there. Here, let's just bring a few of them up. PHO, and let's put in FIW with that, and then CGW you mentioned. So FIW, CGW, all super correlated. They all probably hold the same damn stocks, honestly. Those are the 3 largest by assets. I don't know what the expenses are on those things. No, they're all about the same. They're all pretty much the same. Those are the 3 large water ETFs, Quebec. What else? How do you add buy or sell? Okay, so Run Dewey Run's asking, how do you add buy or sell buttons to your charts? This is actually not a feature that works at the moment. If I click buy, I don't think anything. Yeah, nothing. This is just because I'm in like a beta version of Pro. To answer that question, so those buttons for the moment they don't do anything. So I would say don't worry about that because they don't work right now. It's a beta thing. What else? What else? Theater guy got 50 cents on Alpha at $18. Very nice. Very nice. Dude, I'm in the camp that trading is all about base hits, right? If you can just swing bunt, get a base hit every day, 10 times a day, great. You make 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 cents on a trade, great. Right? Obviously, I'm talking about per share. That's great, right? Can't be swinging for the fences every time. You'll just strike out. And yeah, the 19, that's Mike Wisdom saying 19. I mean, that's common belief, right, in markets that whole numbers are magnets. Whole numbers and half dollars are magnets, right? So 1850 came and went. We blew through it. Next logical number is the next whole number, which is $19. I mean, that's certainly logical. Looks like it wants to go there. Thoughts on U-Haul? Oh my gosh, I always forget that this one is public. Always forget. I learned it was public for the first time. Like it must have been like a year ago that I learned that U-Haul was publicly traded. I had no idea.
STRR, Star Equity, popping here on some volume. Sandy Tango Romeo.
I'm just looking at U-Haul's earnings. I've heard stories. Wait, where was I? I've heard stories about people renting U-Hauls because they're cheaper to rent than Avis or like rental cars like Hertz or Avis. I mean, chart looks pretty damn great to me. I don't know what more there is to say about it. Obviously, it's down. A lot of these things were down from January. That was just silliness, right? But you've got a level to lean on the weekly. You got two lows in the same area. I would lean. So what level was that? You got two lows at like 523 to 527. Or were those two weekly lows? So somewhere in that range. Call 525. Call it even, right? Or split the difference. So I would go long and then lean on those lows. I mean, it's a $500 stock, so these you got to give yourself some wiggle room on a stock that is $500. What else? How is space still going to the moon? Literally? Oh my goodness, this thing. Wow. It's crazy how these things can go from out of favor to in favor, right? Just like that. We poo-pooed this stock for so long on PreMarket Prep. Just poo-pooed it. Theater guy says, wait, no. Scruff McGuff says he always says sells a few cents before whole numbers. Yes, definitely. We talked about that this morning. If you want to rewind the stream till about 2 hours and 15 minutes ago. I think we talked about that. We talked about whole numbers. You always want to try to jump the queue. You always, because so Tesla's a great example, right? Tesla, everyone and their mother was like, 700, it's going 700 all day, every day, 700. All right. It was kind of obvious if you're looking at the chart. All right. Well, what happened yesterday? Where'd it get to? 695. It did not get to, it came close. I'm sorry, 697. It came close, but no cigar. You got to give yourself some wiggle room. You got to not rely so much. When I say lean on the number, I mean jump ahead of it, right? Place your bid a smidge, maybe a smidge above, or the offer a smidge below, right? Don't just lean. Don't think, I'm waiting till it hits my number, because everyone knows that number is in play. Nike has dividends. Yes, I believe Nike has dividends. I don't know. Let's check in the Pro. Does Nike have a dividend? Yeah. Yield is 0.8%, which is a little bit low compared to their peers. What is our take on TSP? What is my take on TSP? Remind me what this right, freight. I knew that. It's a growth play. The fact that it's held up when so many of these growth plays haven't. This was a SPAC, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's go to the news feed. Yeah. This was definitely a SPAC. So a lot of these SPACs have gotten punished. And this one is holding up relative to the rest of the SPAC trade. That's a great sign. I wouldn't bet against it. So you've got this sort of consolidation thing. You got this, whatever this range was. What was that range, right? $50 to 66. All right. You've sort of been in this range for about 2 weeks, a little over a week, right? Just consolidating. That's good news. I like consolidation. I would root for more consolidation. Because the longer a stock consolidates, the more likely it is to just the more likely, if it breaks higher, it rips higher, like serious rip higher.
ALF Alfie share is at the highs 1988 up 54%. Alpha Lima Foxtrot ALF.
Oh my God, Brug Light is really asking a great question. If you have Benzinga Pro, can we use Squawk on mobile? You know what? I almost want to ask somebody here because I don't know if I know the answer to that question. Let me see if anyone knows. That's a great question, Brug. Hold on, I want to ask. Let me real fast. All right, it does. Turns out everyone's giving me crap for not knowing that, but yes, it does work on mobile. Brocklight, there's your answer. You can use Squawk on mobile. Theater guy sold TSP for the third time around 59. And yeah, theater guy is just trading the range, baby. TradeTheRange.com in TSP. That's it. What's my take on CRCT? Oh God, this is not one that I know. I don't know this thing. Let's educate myself. What? So what is this? What is this like? Is this like an Etsy thing? Is this similar to Etsy? I'm trying to understand what the company even does because I don't even know. Anyway, not that matters. I like to know what the company does before I give an opinion. But hard to argue with this, right? Let's go back to the news feed. Do we have any? So they IPO'd at the IPO price was 20, and it opened below that. Oh, never a good sign. Never a good sign when you open below your IPO price. So open at 16. IPO at 20, open at 16. All right. This is unusual, right? There's studies that have shown that like 9 out of 10 IPOs will trade lower than their IPO price within the first 12 months. Okay. This one clearly not trading lower for right now. I said earlier, I would never bet against the stock at all-time highs. And this one is at some kind of a resistance here. It looks like this is the only resistance that there is, right? Hard to you can't look, the trend is your friend, right? This is not that complicated, right? The trend is your friend. You have some resistance at 38, right? You got resistance right here, 38.89, 38.85, we're at 38.60. There's your resistance. Okay, there are sellers. Somebody wants to sell at 38.80, 38.90, right? There is your ceiling for the moment. You go long. I'm sorry. If you want to go short, you go short until 38.90, right? And then you cover if it breaks through, because then you broke through resistance. Then you cut your losses that way, right? That's my take on CRCT. Alan, I should have just screamed. You're right. I didn't scream in the office, but I did call attention to myself, and I don't like doing that usually. How do you feel about NetEase? NetEase.
RCL, Royal Caribbean
Oh, wait, let's look at RCL.
executive on CNBC says there will be cases on board ships. Important thing is we make sure they don't become an outbreak.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's Romeo Charlie Lima.
That's important. Thanks.
Royal Caribbean.
Thanks, Royal Caribbean CEO. That's really important. I agree with
Two
that
guests
sentiment.
on Adventure of the Seas tested positive. That was reported yesterday by Royal Caribbean RCL.
Okay, I didn't know that. It's funny. Yeah, I would say it's important too. Wait, let's go back to NetEase. Sorry. Okay.
DKNG DraftKings July 52 calls active now on DKNG. Shares getting a little pop here.
I don't know if I have any thoughts on this, honestly. I don't really know what to make of this chart, ScarJo. I'm sorry. What are your thoughts? Are you at the the midpoint of this range? I think you might be. 84 to 134, and we're at 106. You're near the midpoint. Not quite there, but you're close. Let me just do the math. I can't do it in my head. Yeah, 110 will be your midpoint. I don't know if I have a take on this. Sorry. URGO. God, there's so many tickers out there that I just UGRO. Oh, Urban Grow. Oh, I know these guys. Didn't they uplist or something? Or no? Am I imagining that? I may be imagining that. All right. This looks weird.
UAD Quad Graphics popping to the high. Quebec Uniform Alpha Delta.
Alan is asking about Urban Grow. You know what, Alan? Rather than me tell you about this, what you should do is save this question for Tuesday, I think. Save this question for Tuesday because we have every Tuesday and Thursday we have a cannabis show, right? And it's at 4:30 on Tuesday, and you should ask. This is a cannabis play, right? This is like it's agriculture, it's farming, right? But it's mostly used for cannabis. I think if memory
GMBD Golf Michael Victor Delta G Medical Innovations opening at $450, priced at $5 per unit. That's Golf Michael Victor Delta.
I would ask these guys on Tuesday at 4:30 what they think of Urban Grow because they would know more about it than I. Alan. Wait, Papa Bull, who are you talking about? Charles? Yeah, I'd love to smoke a cigar with Charles. That'd be fun. That'd be hella fun. Whose voice is that? Betty Sue. That is Charles. That is Benzinga Charlie. He's the Benzinga Pro squawker. If you get Benzinga Pro, you get Charles. And he is the man behind the voice, the man behind the microphone, the man behind the curtain. He's the Wizard of our Oz. Okay. His job is to squawk headlines and trade ideas as they come through. Okay. And he is the best at what he does. And I mean that sincerely. I am not just saying that. ScarJo, it's your okay. Today is your first Russell rebalance. Okay, ScarJo, listen up. There may be nothing really to do for this until like 3:30, but for the last half hour of the day, there is going to be some weird things happening. You will see stocks go from green to red to green like that. Okay, there's going to be some crazy move. I promise you, and it may not even happen until like 3:58, 3:59 in like the last minute or so. But I promise you, there will be some crazy moves. The way to not get killed at the close today is to be super, super tight with your orders. Absolutely no market orders. Do not put a market order for anything in the last few minutes of today's session. 0 market orders. You will get picked off. Okay, you do not want that. Be super strict with your orders, or and here's another idea: just sit out and watch. Just watch what happens. Okay, because there's going to be some crazy moves. Everyone knows that the stocks being added to the index are going to be added to the index as of Monday morning, and same thing with the ones being removed. So we know that there is forced buying and forced selling.
HGEN, your managing shares off the lows now. 1810, the July 20 call sweep on Hotel Golf Echo November. HGEN.
Okay, we know that there's forced buying and forced selling, and what happens when the market knows that is it can manipulate those stocks, and it can get ahead of it, and yeah. So there's going to be some weird. There's always some weird things that happen, right? I would pay attention to the banks because we also have the stress test results yesterday, right? I'd be watching the banks a little bit because they're super thick, super widely traded. You can watch the overall market, you can watch the SPY, you can watch the Qs, right? And again, it's going to be probably a pretty normal day, I would think, for the most part, until the last 20 minutes, but really maybe even the last 5 minutes. Just be super disciplined with your orders. If you have a stock that you want to buy, I would say either or same thing with the stock you want to sell. Maybe get done before the end of the day. Maybe get done before 3:45. It would be my advice. Because the book is going to be so thick and there's going to be so much volume at the end of today's session, like an insane amount of volume. Today is one of the busiest trading days of the year, right? And it's all at the close. I'm not trying to scare you. Like I said, if you want, you could just sit out and watch. But there's going to be some weird. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I don't know, obviously, right? But today is one of the highest volume trading days of the year, and definitely the highest volume trading day of the summer for sure. So for Palantir at 30, well, are you long Palantir? I'm assuming. Yeah, I mean, $4 is $4 is a long
Cash
ways
Gary
away.
says housing market is booming, and part of that is because of Fed's easy policy. ATOS, Atosta Therapeutics, more calls. The July $12 call now on ATOS, for Tango Oscar Sandy.
Yeah, Crypto Morning Show is making a good point. If you have it, just check your stops, okay? Don't forget about those. If you have a stop sitting out there, don't forget that you left it out there, okay? Maybe clear your orders or something before we get to 3:55 today, right? Because if you got an order and you just forgot, you threw it out there, you threw a sell order out there, whatever, a month ago, some stop limit or whatever, you could get hit. Just be careful.
Cash Gary says need to build more housing supply to address rising home prices.
Yeah. And on the Palantir note, again, Palantir is what's going into the index, right? It's going in. That does not mean it has to go up. It's going in. Therefore, we know that there's a lot of money there's a lot of funds, large funds that will have to buy Palantir, right? That track the Russell. But we know that's going to happen. That does not mean just because there's forced buying in Palantir today, it does not mean the stock has to go up. That's the biggest takeaway from today. All right, I was going to replay the interview with Dave Portnoy, but we're at 10:52 already, so time flies when you're having fun. We do have SPACs attack starting in 8 minutes. I know today they're doing another SPAC battle, I think. Oh, no, they're not. They're doing they're going over the top 6 SPACs that have either made a deal, completed a deal or have rumors of a deal incoming. That's what's on today's show. Chris and Mitch, the SPAC gurus, save your SPAC questions for them, please, because they know way more about this stuff than I do. Jeff says the best is when you make a trade and then Charles just squawks it. Yeah, ATOS is the big mover of the day, right? Yeah. What is the news on this? Oh, God.
SUNW Sunworks getting a pop to the highs. Sandy Uniform November Whiskey. The September 12.5 call now active on Sandy Uniform November Whiskey as shares spiked to $10.95 at the high. That's SUNW. Sandy Uniform November Whiskey.
Jordan is asking if PaySafe is being added to the Russell. I don't know. Let's go look. It is, yes, it is being added. PaySafe is being added to the Russell 3000. That is not new news, though. So if you're seeing a spike in the last few minutes, not because of that. Whoa.
CHMA Chiasma shares spiking here. Charlie Hotel Michael Alpha. CHMA $4.78.
See, this is okay. So we have a headline here for PaySafe. Okay. Traders circulate word that 14 million shares of the stock will have to be bought by the end of the day to account for the Russell imbalance.
Shares up about 11% at the high. Charlie Hotel Michael Alpha.
Again, I want to emphasize maybe that's true. It's from Mark Lehman, who's a well-known guy, a well-known person on FinTwit. Maybe that's true, but that doesn't mean the stock has to go up. This is not a surprise. Everyone knows about this. The news was out 3 weeks ago when Russell put out their first list, and even before that, there are analysts that predict which stocks are going in and out. Okay, we know there's forced buying. That does not mean the stock has to go because it's not a secret. It's not a secret.
Hearing a newsletter mention on CHMA, the reason for that spike.
I just want to emphasize this, okay? What happens when everyone gets on the same side of the seesaw? Right? Goes down. I can't stress it enough. So maybe it is popping from that tweet. I don't freaking know. If it is, it's stupid. Because that's not new information. Whatever. The market's dumb sometimes, guys. What can I say? News on ALF? No. ALF small float. That's the news. Easy to push around. 2 million share float. Easy to push around. Yeah, James is the algos. You're probably right, James. It's all computers. All computers. Can it check UiPath? Yeah. Let's go to is there news on it today or something? No, I don't think so. Oh. Well, what did our Cathie bought more? No surprise there. She likes to buy the dip. All right. We got some insider buying yesterday. Always interesting. Right? Because there's only one reason to buy and a gazillion reasons to sell. But you would only buy it if you expect the stock to go higher. Right?
Best indications, MCW, $18 to $19, GRPH, $22.10, GHRS, $22.40, ELEV, $15.51.
Tight range here. Look at that. Couldn't hurt to take a shot. Stop yourself out at, what, somewhere around 67 or whatever? Maybe 68. Couldn't hurt. Looks like it wants to stop going down at least, which you like to see. I'm not mad, Zachary. I'm not mad. I'm just fired up. Today basically is a holiday for trading, right? I mean, not in the sense that we should get the day off, but today is like one of the most eventful days of the year. There are people who make their entire, you know what? I'm gonna turn Squawk off. People who make their entire strategy around days like today, right? Around index rebalances, right? And the Russell rebalance only happens once a year, and there is like $10 trillion pegged to these indexes. Okay, so it makes it, I believe, the largest imbalance or the largest rebalance of the year. You got the S&P rebalances. That's another big one. MSCI does a rebalance that's notable. But today, for a lot of people, is one of the most important days of the year. I mean, if you're watching PreMarket Prep this morning, and like 2 hours ago, Dennis said he was nervous. Dennis doesn't get nervous, right? It's just a big day. So I'm fired up. That's why I'm fired up, because it's a Russell rebalance. It's a Friday. I'm fired up. Exactly. It's the Game 7 of the World Series of trading. Totally agree, WK Harris. Or I would venture to say Game 7 of Stanley Cup Finals of trading. All right, it's 10:59, guys. I'm going to wrap up. Please remember that all the information from our show and all of our streams is meant to be used as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. Thanks to all the people for hanging out with us, whether it's Markus Heitkoetter, Jason Raznick, Jonathan Mallard, Ryan Faloona, Mitch Hott. Thanks to all of you in chat. Drop us a like, please. How many likes are we at today? Let's venture. I'm gonna venture. Are we at 500? Oh, we're close. Get me to 500, guys. Get me to 500. Let's get to 500 likes, and then that would make my day. I'd appreciate that. So again, pro.benzinga.com, code YouTube20 to get 20% off any subscription. SPACs Attack with Mitch Hodge and Chris Cathie coming up right now. This video will redirect to that on YouTube, so you don't have to do anything. Just stay tuned. Everyone, have a good rest of your day. We got SPACs Attack, we got Power Hour, Get Technical, Moon or Bust. Great slate of shows coming up later on in the day. Everyone, good luck in your trading, and I will see you a little bit later.